ready to start.
Okay, good morning, everyone. We are still getting all of our speakers within the presenter window. Want to make sure that we can start on time. So we will just be on mute until the meeting starts at 8, but just wanted to let everyone know that we're organizing all of our folks. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Just a quick update. We're getting all of our speakers in presenter mode, and we will get started here shortly. And we're going to do our best to keep everything on time. So thanks so much for your patience. Good morning, everyone. And once again, thank you for your patience. Welcome to the EESP Kickoff webinar. We're very excited. We have got little bit of housekeeping items for you this morning. One of the key pieces is that your phone lines are muted upon entry into the webinar. So if you have questions at any point in the presentation, we encourage you to type those in the Q&A section of the webinar. You'll notice there's a chat function and a QA section. We'd like you to focus on the QA section for us today for our purposes. The webinar is being recorded. It is a very long webinar, and it will be made available to you within a few days after the webinar wraps today. We'll also have the slides available for you. So all the information will be available post-webinar. Another exciting thing we'd like you to engage with us is a survey at the end of the webinar. So if you can please take some time and let us know some feedback, let us know how you felt about all the information, and just keep us up to date on the needs you have to make sure you have all the information for all the offerings that we have here at ComEd. The other piece I want to share with you is that we are keeping our speakers on time, the best of our ability today. So one thing that you may see pop up on the screen periodically is a little surprise reaction. And it looks like this guy. So that little surprise reaction is actually to let our speakers know that they are close to the end of their time. So with that, just ignore it. The speaker will know, and we will keep everything moving as smoothly as possible. So with all those items taken care of on a housekeeping front, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Scott Grost, Senior Program Manager for ComEd. Scott?
All right. Thank you, Angela, and good morning, everyone. As Angela said, we're very excited to have everyone here. Thanks for spending your morning with us. This is the 2024 EESP Kickoff. We, again, are very excited to have you here. We've got Angela, who you just met, and also Brittany in the background, helping make sure things go smoothly. So thank you to both of them. We know everyone's time here is valuable, so we've tried really hard to create a really great lineup with lots of good information for you about the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program. So kind of two main objectives this morning. The first is to really celebrate, right, a great 2023, and thank you for all your hard work in helping us pursue our goals. And the second is to get everyone excited, right, about the new program year and give you all the information you need to help drive your participation in the program. So here is a macro agenda, and you can see there's going to be 4 kind of sections that we're breaking things out into. We're going to start with some high-level portfolio updates, and then end with a award ceremony for 2023 EESP awards. So very excited about that. From there, we'll be having 2 sessions diving into key information and updates from each of the various program offerings. So you can see that's going to be split out residential, followed by commercial and industrial. And then we're going to round out the webinar with a session on some additional tools and offerings that you won't participate in directly, but that you will definitely benefit from understanding how they impact you. As you hear about the different program offerings, what we want to do is encourage you to think about how can you increase your participation across the portfolio, right? So if you participate, for example, in the standard program offering, pay attention to the custom program, the small business program. If you're doing work in other C&I program offerings, maybe think about if your skills fit somewhere on the residential portfolio side, right? We also hope you take note of the various resources and benefits that are going to be talked about across the portfolio, like things with assistance with certifications, right? Diverse business certifications is one, mentorship opportunities and things like that. We are, one sort of final housekeeping thing, going to try and start each session at these times listed here on the slide. So if we are running a little ahead of schedule, we'll take a small break and start each of the sections at the times listed there. This is the only webinar, so no need to jump to any different links. You're welcome and encouraged to hang out with us until the end, and we are hoping to wrap up by about noon. So let's dive in a little deeper into this first session. So this is the intro and overview and awards. So we're going to start with a safety message. We'll hear some portfolio updates. We'll hear from the customer innovation and R&D team. We'll come back to me and we'll talk about some EESP network items. We will then talk about the incubator program and market development initiative, and we'll round it out with the 2023 EESP Network Awards. So Angela covered a lot of this, but just a couple of reminders. We're recording. It's going to be posted on the website. We'll make the slides available as well. And because everyone's in listen-only mode, please enter your questions in the Q&A section. We'll address what we can live as time allows and follow up to the rest via email. So I'm going to dive right in to our safety message. So in the spirit of keeping safety at the forefront of everything we do here at ComEd and Exelon, we like to start all of our meetings with a safety message. So I'm going to present a quick message today on radon awareness. So January actually happens to be the National Radon Action Month from the EPA. And so we're going to talk a little bit about radon awareness. So most people are probably at least familiar with radon or have heard about it, but it is a naturally occurring radioactive gas that is both invisible and odorless, right? And because of that, it can enter your home through the ground and affect indoor air quality. And when you inhale it, it's radioactive, right? And so the particles can cause damage to your DNA and/or lung cancer, which of course no one wants. It actually happens to be the second leading cause of lung cancer after cigarette smoking. And the only way to know, because it's invisible and odorless, if there are high levels of it in your home or in another structure is to test, right? The National Cancer Institute says about 1 in 15 homes in the US have radon levels at or above the EPA action level. So again, good thing to, test if you're not sure. Hopefully you have a recent test and just make sure you're safe with the level of radon. Radon actually is produced from a natural breakdown of uranium in the soil, rock, and water. And so because it's in that soil, rock, and water, it kind of comes into your house in a variety of ways, or house or structure, right? So you can see here various cracks, joints, gaps, cavities. It can also enter the water supply, something I didn't know when I was putting this together. So it can enter your well water, so something to look out for there. And last slide here on the safety message, but is about testing, right? So testing is relatively easy and inexpensive, and you can do it yourself. There's sort of both short and long-term tests that you can get. The longer ones tend to be produce more accurate results, but you can do either. You can also consider hiring a professional tester. Plenty of those available on the EPA website. Here, I should mention, hopefully everyone's realized these slides all came from the EPA, so credit goes to them. But you can test it, right? You can see there's sort of a level here that if the radon levels are above, you want to take action, and you can consult with a professional to install types of mitigation systems, right? So, there's things like sealing cracks, some depressurization, tends to be relatively quick and cost effective, and good to protect your family. So hopefully that was informative, and hope everyone is now on alert about radon in their home or other structure. That's it for the safety message. I'm going to now turn it over to Nick Bafalukis, our Director of Customer Solutions, for some portfolio updates. So Nick, take it away.
Thanks, Scott, and good morning, everyone. I personally appreciate that very informative safety message. As someone who's home tested for elevated levels of radon, I can't stress enough the importance of testing and taking the proper mitigating actions, so really appreciate that. As Scott mentioned, my name is Nick Bafalukis. I'm part of ComEd's larger customer solutions group, which is comprised heavily by our energy efficiency portfolio. Alongside all of you, we are really excited to help our customers better manage their energy usage through the installation of energy efficient systems and devices. To kick today's session off, I'd like to give a quick update on the portfolio overall, covering both what we've achieved so far and what you all can expect in 2024 before we go into several deep dives with other presenters. So with that, if we can move forward one. So for those of you, I know some of you have been in the program for multiple years, and you'll remember that what we collectively achieve each year isn't only impressive in its own merit, but when you view it across the entirety of how long we've had energy efficiency here at ComEd, it gets all the more inspiring. With all of your help and with the help of many others, over the past 15 years plus, our energy efficiency portfolio has achieved some pretty impressive stuff. This page is a by the numbers sort of snapshot view that we like to use internally. A couple things that are just noteworthy for me personally that jump out is that we have nearly saved customers on their bills, so direct bottom line impact to them, $9 billion since the portfolio started. We have done that by issuing nearly $2 billion in incentives, and that is translated into nearly $4 million in rebates. And we take all of that and look at kind of the impact on the environment. We've saved over 67 billion pounds of avoided CO2 emissions, which, to put that in perspective, I know not all of us think about CO2 emissions as a unit of measure. Based on my research, it's equivalent to taking nearly 2/3 of the registered vehicles here in Illinois off the road for a year. So really, really impressive stuff. While we celebrate our collective accomplishments, there's plenty of work ahead for this year, and I'd like to speak a bit more to that next. So if we can jump forward one. So not surprisingly, our plan for 2024 is ambitious, just as ambitious as ever. As with prior years, not only have our goals increased, but they come amidst some ever-challenging conditions. You will hear more about this in the presentations that come, but expiring savings and increasing pressures on our portfolio's cost effectiveness has caused us to shift away from certain measures, such as lighting, to focus on newer, longer life ones. Again, many of which we're going to cover today. That all said, several things remain the same. So we'll continue to focus on serving our income eligible communities through energy efficiency, while also building awareness of ComEd's other financial assistance programs. This is something that we started in the last couple of years, pairing financial assistance with energy efficiency, and we've been seeing a lot of success to the benefit of our customers. We'll also continue to pursue our 10% electrification savings goal, while ensuring we do so equitably. We are targeting at least 25% of our income eligible savings towards this goal. And at the same time, we're going to continue to serve our business and public sector customers, again, equitably, by maintaining our focus on underserved communities. So while all of this focus on our customers remains the same with your all help, we are also renewing our efforts to help you grow and prosper. You'll learn more about a new program that we are kicking off. It's known as the Market Development Initiative. It actually launches in the coming weeks, and it's aimed to introduce new training and support services to help each of you have better access to the skills needed to participate in our programs across the entire portfolio. And this is alongside our longstanding commitment to promote diversity and diversity across our partners in the field, with the same commitment to target $100 million in spend with certified diverse businesses this year. So in closing, if we can move to one forward, thank you. What you're going to learn today is more about each of the programs listed here and the changes that are happening in each. For those of you that are newer to the network, we've broken out today's agenda based on the type of customer served. So we'll talk about residential as a group, we'll talk about commercial and industrial as a group, but we also kind of group some of our programs along the tools that we have that are specifically geared toward identifying potential leads for projects. And at the very end, we are very excited to share more about our soon to be launched beneficial electrification programs, which launch later next month, and how you can get involved. Before I hand things off to the next presenter, I just want to say thank you again, not just for joining us today, but helping us serve our customers and helping us contribute to a cleaner and greener planet. Thank you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nick, for that portfolio update. Really great information. I am going to keep things rolling here and hand it over to our next presenter. So I'd like to introduce Mark Milby from our R&D team. Mark, take it away. Oh, I think you're muted, Mark.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
There we go. Perfect. All right. It's all yours.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. I'm just going to take a couple minutes to provide an update on our research and development initiative, which we're now calling Customer Innovation. And the reason why we're calling it that is because we have since expanded the innovation initiative beyond just energy efficiency into a few other domains. So if you can go one slide ahead, you'll see that the team, which is embedded within the ComEd Customer Solutions Group, is tasked with identifying, testing, validating, and integrating new technologies and also new program concepts for the portfolio of programs. That includes the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program as one of our biggest focus areas. Within that, we're really focused on not just energy efficiency, but these days also building electrification, demand response, distributed energy resources, grid interactive connected buildings, also in-home energy and control technologies, as well as supporting our municipal partners and new codes and standards that kind of float all boats. So what we do is we collaborate with all the teams across customer solutions and indeed across the rest of ComEd on the distribution and the grid side and on our large customer services side and external affairs to execute on innovation projects, be they research or field demonstration projects, all aimed at really advancing the energy portfolio and other programs within ComEd. And we invite external organizations to submit ideas and proposals for those projects. What should those projects look like? And every month we receive many of these proposals or ideas in partnership with those submitters and decide which directions to take our research in next. We also commonly invite or solicit proposals via our request for information or request for proposals. If you can go to the next slide, I will give just a snapshot for your reference of a few of the active projects or recently completed projects that we've been working on now. So you can see we're really spanning the whole spectrum of customer segments, as well as different types of technologies. We've been very focused in the residential space on the deployment of heat pumps, specifically air source heat pumps, helping stand up a new whole home electrification offering, new training opportunities for contractors around heat pumps, studying different applications of home electrification technologies and making sure we understand the customer bill impacts and the economic proposition for each one of those. And then on the commercial industrial side, our projects right now really span the gamut of all different types of technology and end uses, energy end uses within buildings being addressed. So you can see we also have larger scale heat pumps being tested and validated, and looking at in the near future weaving those into the program portfolio in terms of creating new customer offerings and incentives, but also other technologies that are not electrification related, like energy management systems for small businesses, window shades, smart valves, smart building controls, advanced refrigeration. So that just gives you a sense. Each one of these projects involved a great deal of field work or has installations out in the field that are being monitored, and we're working with energy efficiency service providers as well as research organizations and other types of industry partners to get the results that we need as fast as we can. So, and then last slide, please, Scott. We do have a website. I encourage you to visit it. It's called innovate.comed.com. The reason you'd want to go there is that's where we list all of these projects. We also share out completed project reports. You can sign up for our mailing list, which is how you would hear about solicitations to get involved in research, particular RFIs or RFPs, like I mentioned before. I really encourage service providers, contracting organizations to submit ideas for consideration. Take a look at our website and what focus areas we have lined up for 2024. Some questions I encourage you to think about as you consider whether you have ideas or you would like to submit a proposal for consideration is think about what are the barriers that you're seeing to customer adoption that you feel like are going unaddressed over and over again. What are new technologies that you're interested in selling or promoting? What are new ways that you think the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program can support the growth of new technologies or simply support the growth of your business? These are examples of ideas that we would really love to see submitted to our initiative, and we would work collaboratively with all the different program implementation teams within ComEd to try to address those. And then lastly, if you are interested in learning more, we do next month on February 22nd have a webinar that we're going to host where we're going to go over the basics of kind of what kind of projects we engage in and what are ways that you can get involved. And then it'll also be recorded. So feel free to check that out. And if you ever have any questions, there's a contact form through the website as well that you can reach out to me and my team directly. So thank you, everyone. And I hope to be seeing your ideas and proposals in the new year.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mark. Great information. Definitely check out that webinar, check out the website. Really exciting stuff with some of the projects you're working on. Can't wait to see a lot of that stuff out in the field soon. So thanks for that update. All right. We're going to keep rolling. If anyone has questions, remember, you can always drop them in the Q&A. I think what we'll do is if anyone had questions on the first two sessions, if we have time at the end of this broader section, we'll try and tackle them. But we're going to switch gears here, and you're sticking with me here for a little bit. We're going to talk about the EESP network and give you some updates. So my name is Scott Grost. I'm a senior program manager here at ComEd, and I oversee the EESP network. So I work at the portfolio level, and you can think of things like tools, processes, procedures, best practice sharing. And what I do is work across the program offerings and try and standardize and find efficiencies as much as possible. So we're gonna jump into some things about the network and some reminders. First, just want to revisit kind of the purpose of the network and give you some stats just to ground everyone here. So, the ESP network initiatives, we called it back at the time, but really creating this sort of streamlined network kicked off back in 2018. And really what we were trying to do was identify areas of improvement in the various network processes and procedures to help make your lives easier, right? And to support your participation in the ComEd energy efficiency program, right? As part of that, we wanted to find ways for you to convey feedback to us to be able to continuously improve the program. And so, we're hoping that we're sort of in this flywheel state, right, where we're constantly working with you and getting this network where it makes your lives easier and you can participate as much as you're able, right? Some of the key stats on the network were 850 plus strong EESPs, and as a reminder, EESPs are any of contractors, distributors, and engineering or design firms. We've got about 3/4 of us work in a handful of programs that you can see there. I'm really happy to say, and I should say these numbers came from the 2023 ESP survey, so they're technically a sample size, but a little over 1/3 report as being diverse businesses, with a subset of that, about 30%, being certified diverse businesses or in the process of certifying. And then we've got an alumni network of ESP incubator alums of a little over 100. And you'll hear more about that later on. So EESP resources and support, these are some of the things that I help maintain and create new across the portfolio to support your participation, right? So things like streamlined processes, there's a single EESP application, and there's consistent agreement terms across programs. There are various resources to help you work in the different EE program offerings, right? Things like inspection fact sheets, co-branded identifier cards if they're made available. You'll hear more about those later. We've got feedback loops set up. Hopefully everyone participated in the network-wide survey back in August. We'll talk about that here coming up, and things like that. So a lot of the resources are available on the ComEd website that's linked there. And if they're not there, they will be made available through your program offering IC. We also help to increase network diversity and support diverse contractors through the incubator program and market development initiative, the EESP channel of that. And you'll hear more about that in a little bit. And so I also help manage the incubator program, and I'm supporting MDI as part of my role. And in those, we're really trying to enhance the opportunity for diverse contractors to participate in the EE programs, right? So a lot of what we do there is we partner with CBOs to provide many things, right? Education and training, assistance with certification, biz ops support, upskilling, and wraparound services. So more to come on that in our next session. Want to spend a little bit of time here talking about the 2023 ESP Network Survey. So first, thank you to everyone that participated and completed the survey. We really value your feedback and ideas to help make the network strong and work for you to really support your participation in the program. We had our highest response rate in 4 years of conducting the survey, so really excited about that. Again, thank you to all who took the time. You can see a chart here on the overall satisfaction question. The headline is that we remained pretty steady at about 72% year over year. The years sort of go down in descending order. So happy with that result. Of course, we always want to strive to do better. So we're always looking for ways we can do that, but happy with that overall number. That said, we did hear feedback on specific things, right, throughout the various offerings and consistently across the program. So things like the application process, marketing materials, communication, and project processing and payment time, right? And rest assured, we are working on huddling up, addressing those concerns in the various teams so that we can continue to improve and make things as smooth as possible for you all. Wanted to also just reset and ground everyone here on benefits, right? Sort of the what's in it for you, right? Hopefully, first and foremost, to many of you, one of the main benefits here is the opportunity to drive growth in your business, right? By offering these program incentives and lowering the project costs to your customers, right? One of the things you can do as an EESP is, if the customer authorizes it, right, submit the project or incentive application on behalf of them and get that payment, incentive payment directly, right, to just lower the cost directly to the customer, right? So you can offer that sort of turnkey service. You can also market yourself as a ComEd EESP, right? Your name will be listed on the ComEd website. You can use co-branded materials if they're made available and such. You'll have invitations to training and network events such as this. You will hopefully be getting network newsletters with important updates and info, invitation to participate in the survey that we just talked about, and you'll become eligible for an EESP award. And we're going to go through those award winners soon. So excited about that. On the right-hand side, there are several more things that you will have the potential to get access to depending on your program offering. So things like marketing materials that they make available, roundtables, different trainings, access to personnel to help with a variety of things, mentorship, and opportunities to maybe have a project spotlighted or to have some program representation at an event. So there is lots in it for you. We really value all of the work you do in the field, and we try to make it worth your while, right, to participate in these benefits. So don't forget, all of these are out there for you. That said, right, to be an EESP, there are certain things that you have to do. So wanted to just review those here quickly, just as reminders, hopefully, for everyone. So first, right, there is a single application. I encourage anyone that after you go through this webinar and you decide, hey, I want to check out and participate in this new program offering that I'm not in already, fill out this application, right, the single application, and send it to this email address. There are a couple of different types of enrollment. Most of the networks that you apply to have open enrollment, right? That means you can apply and be accepted at any time if you meet the requirements of that offering. There are a handful of offerings that do conduct periodic requests for qualifications or proposals, right? So that will be more at a set point in time that they will send those out and ask for more information from you. So small business, RCX, whole home electric are a few of them. If you do apply via the general application, that will ensure that you get that RFQ or RFP when it's released. You'll see, I think a few of the programs also give another way to get on a list for those, but if you apply via the general application, you'll get there as well. So that said, right, despite the different types of having your application reviewed and being determined as authorized to participate, these are all EESP networks, right? In the next two sections that you'll hear from, the residential and C&I program offering sections, you may hear some refer to them as closed networks. You may hear some say open networks. They mean kind of different things to different people. So to avoid confusion, I just want to encourage everyone to remember these are all EESP networks, and they require a couple baseline things, right? No matter how they are referred to, right? So they're listed out here. They require a signed EESP or contractor participation agreement. Hopefully everyone has seen that come across their plate already. If you haven't, it should be coming very, very soon, right? We require that to be re-executed for the new program year here. It requires compliance with the ComEd marketing rules. So once again, hopefully everyone has seen those. If not, your IC has them, and they will make them available to you. And we'll talk a little bit about them here in a second. And the third is ICC certification and annual renewal, right? Everyone needs that, and really all contractors that work on measures that get incentive payment from us need to be ICC certified. The last thing is there may be other requirements as specified by the program offering, and you'll hear some of those as we go through the presentations, but just remember those 3 things are standard across the board. So we're going to dive in to a couple of these things quickly. So the marketing rules, right? These are important. They help to present the energy efficiency program in a consistent way, right? And appropriately represent the ESP role to customers, right? To keep it simple to understand and to help prevent misrepresentation out in the field, right? I think, many of you are probably aware there are shouldn't say often, there are occasionally some bad actors out there in the field that try to represent the program fraudulently, right, that are not actually EESPs, and right, that's not good for any of us, right? So the more we can follow these rules and present the ComEd EE program in a consistent and standardized way will really strengthen the integrity of it and make it harder for people out there that are trying to do harm or are up to no good, right? So the marketing rules consist of a couple things. It's consistent branding, that's the look and feel, terminology, and proper use of the logo. There's a couple examples here of how you should and should not be using the logo. So you can use the tagline there in your email signature or website, that's on the right, and the co-branded identifier cards if they're made available to you. You should not be using the ComEd logo on its own or the program identifier on its own, unless it is on some pre-approved collateral, right, that's been made available by your program offering. There are a couple taglines here, I'm not going to read through them, but that you can use to say that you're an EESP and describe what they are. And those are in the marketing rules, right? So I'll let you sort of review those, and there's a reminder on being able to use materials that your program makes available to you. We're going to jump in now to ICC certification quickly before I hand it over. This is, again, just hopefully a reminder for everyone. ICC certification for energy efficiency installers. I know it's not everyone's favorite thing, but it is important, right? Everyone has to comply with it if applicable. So I've linked the full ICC rules here. Generally, it applies to anyone installing energy efficiency measures that require an electrical connection that's not NEC Class 2, where the incentive per measure is greater than $300. So hopefully everyone's familiar with that. We will ask, by we, I mean the program offering teams, will ask for your proof that you're certified, and that can be in a couple different forms. It can be your initial order or the recertification report, and those are sort of shown there to the right. Remember that June 1st, the annual recertification is needed. So that will be coming up before we know it. All right, so I know I'm at time. I'm gonna hand it over now to Adam from the Walker Miller team, and he's gonna talk to you about the incubator program and market development initiative. So
hey,
Adam.
Scott, before Adam starts, we've got one question for you real quick.
Yes, please.
The question is, if we are already an EESP network provider, do we need to re-register?
Yes, so good question. I will say that could kind of take 2 different forms. If it is your, if it's in the same program offering that you're currently participating, check with your IC, right? It sort of depends on the program offering. Some want you to reapply with some additional information that they need. Some may not, but regardless, you will need to re-execute a new agreement for the 2024 year. So again, depending on what we mean by enrollment. The second thing I'll say is if you want to participate in a new program offering, that's where I was saying, please fill out the EESP application and send it in, and that will make its way to that program offering for them to review your qualifications, reach out if they need any more information, and let you know if you're authorized to participate. So good question. Hopefully that answers it. Awesome. All right, in the interest of time, I think we'll move on. So Adam, thanks for jumping on here. I'll let you take it away.
Yep, no problem. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everyone. Really excited to be here and give everyone a quick overview on the incubator program. I have, I think, way too many slides for my time allotted, so I will try to be economical. We can go to the next slide, Scott. So hopefully everyone's familiar with the incubator program, but if not, this is an introduction. If you are, hopefully just a refresher. So the goal of the incubator program is to drive revenue for diverse contractors who work in diverse communities, to create jobs and to impact economic development in communities most in need. So we also want to increase energy efficiency awareness and lower energy costs for ComEd customers in diverse communities. How we do this? We do this by helping contractors in those communities, usually underrepresented and underserved, help them scale and grow their businesses with with the ComEd energy efficiency portfolio. So we do this by training contractors on ComEd energy efficiency programs, assisting those contractors with important certifications like diverse business certifications and the ICC certification, guiding contractors through the EESP network application process, and just providing tools and resources that that contractors would need to overcome, the various barriers that they may face in achieving success in EE. We can go to the next slide. So I know we're going to hear, the terms ICs and implementation contractors a lot today. Walker Miller Energy Services is the implementation contractor for the incubator program. So we run or implement the incubator program on behalf of ComEd. I know sometimes those relationships can be a little confusing, so just wanted to set that up there. I was very encouraged. I went through the registration list before the meeting, and I saw a lot of previous incubator participants. So that was very exciting. So for those of you who have gone through the incubator program, these names are familiar to you. Veronica, Brittany, Alexis, and myself, we are the Walker Miller program team conducting the incubator program. You can go to the next slide. So I want to kind of emphasize this slide as well, and I think Nick teed this up, that the point of the program and our aim is to recruit diverse contractors to drive diversity and equity. That this is something that it's not a component or a piece of the program. This is what the program is. This is intrinsic in the work that we do, in the work that Walker Miller does, and in the work that ComEd does. So just want to emphasize this point. We can move to the next slide. So this might be a little preaching to the choir, but who can participate? These are contractors like yourselves, you on the call. We have a new program promotional flyer that you can see on the right. The types of contractors that we do recruit, as you can see that list there, people involved in compressed air, electrical contractors, general contractors, HVAC contractors, people involved in refrigeration and weatherization. Just a couple of other requirements that we do look for participation. Businesses must have been around for at least 2 years, be in good standing with the state of Illinois, be fully insured, and of course be able to commit to participate fully in the program. I did include a link here. This is a link to the application website. So if these slides are shared, or if you want to jot that down, it'd be great to get the word out that this is the place to go or for contractors to apply. One of the biggest components of the incubator program is our relationship with community-based organizations. It's extremely important for Walker Miller and ComEd to have partnerships with organizations that have their finger on the pulse of their community. We use community-based organizations for a number of things to assist with recruitment. A lot of these organizations lend their services to incubator participants if they would be helpful, again, in alleviating whatever barriers they may have, providing resources. And then if it's applicable, we do have a training session or a training series. And if some representatives from these organizations can act as subject matter experts on some of the topics that we do cover. Another component of the incubator program is our mentorship component. So just anecdotally and from what we've heard from service providers is that peer-to-peer experience, having someone who's on the ground in the same industry, working kind of towards the same goals. It's very important to have those relationships with someone being able to actually walk you through the process of being an EESP or filling out paperwork or identifying what a project looks like. So we do have a mentorship program where we do pair or match incubator participants with successful EESPs who are able to kind of help incubator cohort members navigate navigate it can be the complex kind of ComEd EESP portfolio. We also have an advisory council, again, made up of current EESPs, incubator alumni, and just experts in energy efficiency. The purpose of this council is to help our team really tailor our program so it's maximizing its benefits to our cohort members. So we meet quarterly, and they just help us improve. We come to them with challenges that we may have, and we put our heads together to come up with solutions to those challenges. Just quickly, we are starting recruiting right now for our 2024 program year. So that is kicking off in earnest right now. We want to start kind of the program launch in May with kind of what you see there: back office support assessments, training, certification assistance, and then the back end of the year working on the mentorship program, application assistance, EESP network application assistance, and then alumni support, always continuing to lend kind of whatever support our program team can to, again, help participants be successful and overcome barriers. Nick and Scott teed this up very well. I know that this is kind of still to come, but this is the market development initiative that ComEd is implementing soon. The kickoff is going to be February 1st. There is an EESP engagement channel within the MDI or the Market Development Initiative program, which is geared towards specifically just what it says: energy efficiency service providers to either provide potential and existing EESPs with the resources and assistance they need to be successful. So there is more to come on this. This is still kind of in the works, but please be in touch with your IC contact, your implementation contractor contact, for more information on this, because it is coming soon. So the last slide, just want to say just a couple ways to get involved in the incubator program to help us get the word out with recruitment. That's key. We do want to just keep increasing the numbers of people who are going through the incubator program and filtering them into the larger ComEd EESP network. You can become a member of our incubator advisory council. You can also volunteer to be a mentor. And like I mentioned before, if you are a subject matter expert in one of the training series that we have, it'd be great to have you as a presenter. So if any of those things appeal to you, please contact or reach out to any of us on the program team. Our contact information is there on the right. And I think that's all I got. Thank you, Scott.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you so much, Adam. Yeah, really great programs, the incubator program and MDI. More to come on the MDI front. So thanks for sharing all of that. Much appreciated. All right, we're going to keep rolling. And we are going to start now the awards ceremony. So very excited about this portion of the webinar. We are coming up at our time here for the session. So I'm gonna make my way through this a little faster than I would have liked to, because really we are very excited and proud of these EESP award winners, and so want to give them the sort of recognition they deserve. But we'll do an abbreviated version here. So there are 8 award categories this year. There are 2 new ones: the top performing diverse EESP and the electrification advocate and champion. Those are 2 focus areas, right, for the EE program, right? Diverse contractors and electrification. So we wanted to add awards there. I'm not going to read through the descriptions, but really what these represent are sort of ideals, right? Characteristics of EESP that we really hope all of you exhibit, right, out in the field with our customers, right? Be it your quality work, your customer service, your participation in the program. And so so we really hope that all of you strive to win these awards. Of course, we can only award one for each, but that's just the nature of the game. So here are all of the nominees. So want to give a big round of applause to all these nominees. Very excited that we had so many folks on here be nominated by the various program offering teams. You can see there's only 6 on here because the Savings Superhero is calculation based, and the incubator member is selected just from the incubator. But lots of nominees on here, and congrats to everyone that was nominated. So we're going to roll into the winners. So first up is the Rookie Spotlight, and I am pleased to present the Rookie Spotlight Award to Johnson Controls. So congrats, Johnson Controls, nominated by the Industrial Systems Program. They came up to speed quick and submitted a lot of applications, totaling a lot of savings. So really well done to Johnson Controls. Congratulations. The next award is the Community Champion. So pleased to present that award to Commercial Refrigeration. All right, Commercial Refrigeration, congrats. This is from the Small Business Program, that nomination. Lots of good info in this snippet from that program, but did a lot of projects, and they tended to be smaller, right? And they tended to be in underserved neighborhoods all around Chicago, and they were really comprehensive. So lots of good work there. Congrats to Commercial Refrigeration on the Community Champion Award. Next up is Most Engaged, and so the winner of that award is Duralec Accutech. So congrats to the Duralec Accutech. They were nominated by Instant Discounts, and so they, in the Instant Discounts program, they were one of the earliest adopters of the EEE fork truck offering, and they participated and were very engaged in all the different elements of the program. So well done, Duralec Accutech. Congrats on the award. Next is the Customer Impact Award, and for that, pleased to award it to DNR Construction. So congrats, DNR Construction, nominated by the Home Energy Savings Program. I really love this quote. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the bottom part talks about a customer saying they've dealt with a lot of contractors over the years and yet to come across any that are as courteous, efficient, prompt, and very concerned with what they do and how they do it, and they do it with pride. They clean up behind each job, and they treat it like it's their own home. If that is not something that all service providers should strive to work toward, I'm not sure what is. I'm sure many of you do it, but I'm glad to hear that coming from a customer. So great job, DNR Construction. Next award is the Top Performing Diverse EESP, and the winner is BA Solutions. So congrats, BA Solutions. BA Solutions was actually nominated by 2 programs, Small Business and Standard. So, clear award winner here. Lots of great work throughout both programs, overcoming obstacles and being involved in things like the incubator program and just throughout the portfolio. So great job, BA Solutions. Congrats. The next award is the Electrification Champion. This is the second of the 2 new ones. And the winner here is GreenLink Energy Solutions. So congrats, GreenLink Energy Solutions. This is from the whole home electrification, the nomination. And they talk about, right, having a grassroots effort, right, and word of mouth, really needing to educate customers about the offering and the benefits of electrification. And that's really what this award is all about. So great work, GreenLink Energy Solutions. Congrats on the award. Almost through here, we've got two more. So the Incubator Alum of the Year, this one goes to AAA Construction Services. So congrats, AAA. Harold here is in the snippet, talks a lot about him having perfect attendance, you know, completing every survey, really just being super engaged and contributing throughout the incubator program. And they're looking forward to him becoming an invaluable asset in the network, and I am too. So great job, AAA. Congrats on the award. And last but certainly not least, we've got the Savings Superhero Award. So again, this is calculation based on the biggest saver across the portfolio. And the winner here goes to Midwest Industrial Lighting. So congrats, Midwest Industrial Lighting. They're actually a repeat winner here from the Instant Discounts program. They have saved a total of almost 19 million net kilowatt hours this year. Sorry, in 2023 through the sale of over 219,000 units. So really impressive stuff, and especially the back-to-back win there. Great quotes from the program. I will say two honorable mentions here. Our two second highest savers. We've got Greenwise Energy Solutions from Small Biz with 17.2 million net kilowatt hours, and AP Energy from the Industrial Systems program with 11.8 million. So congrats on that honorable mention. And I'm sure many more are driving a lot of savings. So great job, everyone. Congrats to the winners. You know, very excited to present those, and we'll be following up with everyone on their award. So thank you very much for sticking with us through this first session. We're running a little behind, but we do have lots of good stuff coming up next. So we'll preview that real quick here. 7 minutes ago, we were supposed to start the residential offerings. So we'll roll directly into that here. So you'll hear from those program offerings. 9:40, if we can catch up, we'll do the CNI offerings, start that, and then the additional tools and offerings at 11. So hope everyone can stick with us. Lots of good info to come. And that is all for this session. We're gonna switch gears here quickly, and we'll start with the residential section. All right, thank you all.
All right, and Scott, are you or Angela going to share the slides, or should we do that?
Yep, I'm gonna share. Just give me 1 second here. I'm switching gears and pulling up this new deck. Thank you, Liz. So give me 1 quick second. I'm gonna just cover a quick intro here and we'll get rolling. You can see my new screen, hopefully.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
It still says welcome. The webinar will resume shortly.
Yes,
is that the one we want? Okay,
yep.
Great.
This is the one. Yep. Just I gotta progress forward. So yes, thank you everyone for sticking with us. Sorry, we're a little behind schedule, but we'll be okay. So this is the residential offerings section. We're going to dive into the residential offerings. So there are 4 here that will go in order. So home energy savings, multifamily energy savings, whole home electric, and home heating and cooling. A couple just quick reminders if you jumped on recently here. We are recording these webinar sessions, right? We're going to make them available on the ComEd website once they're ready. We will also make the presentations available, so no need to sort of frantically scribble down notes if that's what you were doing. Everyone is in listen-only mode, and you can't come off mute or on camera. And because of that, if you have questions at the end of each presentation, please put them in the Q&A section, not the chat, but in the Q&A section. We'll try and allocate about 2 minutes at the end of each presentation to answer any questions. So before we jump into the HES program, just want to cover again a couple reminders in case you weren't on for the intro session on the EESP network application and general requirements. If you are interested in participating in any of these offerings that you're not already, please fill out the application linked here and send it to that email address. As a reminder, all program offerings with EESP networks, right, whether they refer to themselves as closed or open or something else, require a few things, right? They require a signed EESP agreement or contractor participation agreement. Hopefully you've already seen that and have executed it. If not, it will be coming your way very, very quickly. It does require compliance with the ComEd marketing rules, including the correct use of the ComEd logo and terminology. There's some examples there to the right of correct and incorrect use. And it does require ICC certification in annual renewal as applicable, right? There may be other requirements depending on the program offering, right? So a couple of them listed out there. So pay attention throughout the offerings if you're not familiar, and they will list those out for you. So with that, we're going to jump into the first offering. So home energy savings, I'd like to hand it over to Liz Connolly and April Wolcott. Take it away, team.
Wonderful. Good morning, everyone. Just checking you can see me and hear me. Great, thank you. My name is Liz Connolly. I'm a senior program manager at ComEd, and I'll be presenting this morning with April Wolcott of Resource Innovations. She is their EESP and outreach lead, and we will be speaking about home energy savings. Next slide, please. So in our presentation today, we'll try to keep it lively and brief. We'll speak about just some overview of what the offering entails, share some updates for the program design for 2024, and then share details about how you can potentially participate. So just to give a little bit of background, home energy savings is an umbrella offering that serves single-family residential customers. And within that overall umbrella, there's 4 segments to the program. The first is our self-assessments. That's new as of late last year. And self-assessments is targeting market rate customers. So those are households earning less than 80% of the area median income. The self-assessment is provided via an online tool. The customer answers questions and is able to receive free and discounted direct install products that are shipped to their home after the assessment. The second segment of home energy savings is our home assessments. In 2024, that is focused entirely on income eligible customers who can participate either through an in-home or a virtual assessment. And through that process, they receive a walkthrough of their home and customized tips, as well as direct install products for their home and a customized report at the end of the assessment. That's delivered by Utility Energy Services. And then the third segment of the offering is our comprehensive retrofits. This is something that we're looking for energy efficiency service providers can participate in. Customers become prioritized to receive a retrofit after completing an in-home home assessment. And their prioritization is based upon having significant energy efficiency need. The types of measures they may receive include weatherization, HVAC, and health and safety, depending on the home and eligibility. And then finally, the fourth segment of the offering is also a comprehensive retrofit that is delivered with funds from the utilities that are braided together with State of Illinois Home Weatherization Assistance Program dollars. We call that the braided IWAP segment. This is for customers who are earning, their households are earning 200% of the federal poverty level or below. These customers are identified and served through their local community action agency. And measures can include weatherization, HVAC, appliances, potentially health and safety. And so we'll talk more about how to participate in each of these segments later in the presentation. Next slide, please. When I mentioned that this is a single family program, just sharing that that can include a single family detached home and also 2 flats, manufactured homes, individually owned and metered condo units as well. Fall into that definition. Resource Innovations is the implementation contractor. And just to give you a sense of the scale of the offering, last year, the offering served more than 15,000 customers, and the majority of those were income eligible customers, and about 3,000 received comprehensive services, so the retrofit offering. Customers who participate in retrofits or IWAP, their work is 100% funded by the utilities and partners, and so there's no copay for the measures for those customers. On average, a retrofit project is about $11,000 in incentives that the customer is benefiting from, and achieving about 1,600 true kilowatt hours of savings. And the IWAP segment is roughly double that. Next slide. And some program updates we'd like to share with you for 2024. We made some enhancements to the customer journey. So in 2024, as I mentioned, the first step in that customer journey is to receive that in-home assessment. And once that's completed, customers can potentially be prioritized to receive that deeper level of retrofit service. Some new measures that we added this year are low emissivity storm windows. That's something we're piloting. EC motor replacement and removable air conditioner covers. And additionally, we've partnered with the Federal Home Loan Bank, which has brought in some external funding to help address health and safety issues that might otherwise be preventing energy efficiency work from proceeding. We've also done some work on prioritization criteria and have made some recent tweaks to that, but can share more detail with folks who are interested in participating. And then finally, in the IWAP braided aspect, the state has some additional weatherization dollars. They're calling Weatherization Plus. And on those projects, they're able to invest up to $30,000 per project to address some of those health and safety needs. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to April.
Thank you, Liz. Good morning, everyone. All right, we have a small open network for BPI certified contractors. ICC certification is required. Our contractors develop a comprehensive scope of work, including health and safety, mechanicals, and HVAC. Our contractors also serve as general contractors with subcontractors when needed. There is an initial in-home walkthrough that's completed through home assessments. Then our contractors perform a more involved technical assessment and develop their own comprehensive scope of work. Next slide, please. Projects are provided by the program, so there's no need for contractors to perform their own marketing or outreach, although they are welcome to do so. We have in-field QA/QC support from a designated team. We host quarterly trainings to address any opportunities or issues identified by our contractors. And during these trainings, our contractors get to network and provide feedback. Retrofits Comprehensive Projects offers great opportunities for contractors and our customers. Next slide. For more information, you can contact Resource Innovations, the Home Energy Savings Team, or email the HES Retrofits email address. A home assessment can be scheduled on ComEd's HES website at the link provided, and customers can enroll at eesavings.com. Next slide, please. IWAP also has a contractor network, and the IWAP network is in need of mechanical and architectural contractors. Most IWAP agencies utilize a competitive negotiated proposal approach, so they can add pre-qualified contractors at any time. You can visit this link provided to pre-qualify. This is a great opportunity for companies to grow their business. Customers and work orders are provided to contractors by the local weatherization agency. Next slide, please. So there's the link to pre-qualify. The Illinois DECO provides a list of pre-qualified contractors to community action agencies. Each agency conducts their own procurement, and they reach out to contractors from the pre-qualified list. Also, if a contractor is interested in working in a specific geographic region, they can reach out to the weatherization department at any community action agency for that area. Below is a link to finding community action agencies, along with a link for additional resources. All right, our last slide, please. And here are home energy savings contacts at Resource Innovations. These are contacts for Kristen Calaman and myself. And I want to thank you so much for your time this morning. And we will open it up for questions that you can post in the Q&A section.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, April and Liz. We're going to hang out here for 30 seconds or so and see if anyone has questions for April, Liz, and the Home Energy Savings Program before we move on. So any questions, please put them in the Q&A.
Hi, Scott. Just a reminder, everybody, you don't have to, you do not have to hold your questions. You can type those in at any point in time. And then when our speaker finishes with their slides, we'll make sure that we address those questions as they've come in. We did have a couple people ask to have access to the Q&A. If you are an attendee and you do not have access to that specific Q&A button, you can use the chat. We're just trying to corral everything in the Q&A when possible. So yeah, just let us know in the chat and we'll monitor both of those. But at this time, it looks like we don't have any questions for our first set of speakers in residential.
Awesome. All right, then in the interest of time, let's keep rolling. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, April. We're going to move on to the multifamily energy savings program. And so with that, I'd like to hand it over to Dave Hernandez and E. Patel and Catherine Hart. Take it away, team. I think Dave's trying to jump on. Dave, we can't see you. There we go.
Okay, I'm not sure what's happening, but thank you, Scott, and thank you, everyone. Hi, good morning. Thank you for joining the EESP kickoff this morning. My name is Dave Hernandez, and I am the program manager for the Multifamily Energy Savings Program. Both I and Lolita manage the program for ComEd, along with Eve Pidel, Catherine Hart, and several team members who manage the Multifamily Energy Savings Program from Franklin Energy, both who will be introducing themselves, also presenting on the program. The multifamily program started back in 2022 with a consolidated of multiple program, and it is delivered jointly with the Nicor Gas, Peoples Gas, and North Shore Gas. The multifamily program is also a single comprehensive program offering that provides a full range of multifamily energy efficiency service. This program will work with property owners, managers, and provide a single point of contact as a project lead so that they will not need to navigate and between different energy efficiency programs. To qualify for the multifamily energy savings programs, multifamily properties will have at least 3 or more residential units and the public housing authorities. The program itself is composed of 4 components, which include income eligible, public housing, market rate, and the Illinois Home Weatherization Assistance Program. The measures that are incentivized in this program are lighting, electric, weatherization, heat pumps, HVAC boilers, water heaters, and health and safety. We'll provide additional details as far as the incentives and the measures in the future slides. Additionally, I want to take this moment also to show our appreciation on what was accomplished last year. Would like to share the highlights achieved and with your continued support. First of all, over 51,000 customers were served last year, along with 11,110 energy efficiency projects. This completed projects accumulated a total of almost 29 gigawatt hours worth of savings, and 3.5 million therms were saved. Next slide, please. As a general overview, for a property to be eligible for the multifamily energy savings programs, property must be considered low income, affordable housing, and the building should be located in the low income census tract. For public housing, any property that's owned or managed by the Public Housing Authority, and for market rate is eligible properties that do not qualify for income eligible or public housing. For IWAP, as mentioned earlier, this offering is low income and affordable housing with buildings with at least 60% of the tenants that fall below the 200% federal poverty line guidelines, which also known as FPL. Available to property owned and managed also in the Public Housing Authority. For income eligible public housing funding availability, the incentive budget buys down the customer costs and covers 100% of the upgrades for certain measures. It includes health and safety budget, also includes electric and gas joint measures. For market rate, it buys down the customer cost. It also includes electric and gas joint measures, and the gas measures are incentivized by the gas utilities. For IWAP, the program is funded by both the government grants and utility funding. From a direct installation perspective, for income eligible and market rate is completed by Franklin Energy. For IWAP direct installation, ESPs can partner directly with community action agencies to provide braided comprehensive energy efficiency retrofits. One note that I like to emphasize is that for public housing offering, the team must confirm the project for approval with the Public Housing Authority executive staff before any projects can move forward. I would like to now hand it over to Eve Peidel and Catherine Hart to talk about the details in the program, and they'll continue presenting.
All right, thanks, Dave. My name is Eve Peidel, and I'm the program manager for this program, and I just wanted to go over some updates for 2024. So for 2024, we have added some measures. We add the exterior faux cell repair, spring load garage door hinges, furnace tune-ups, water heater tune-ups, and central condensing water heater arrays. In addition, we removed a couple of measures. Those include chillers and thermostatic radiator valves. In addition, we have some incentive amount changes. Specifically, there are reductions to high-cost gas capital measures such as boilers, water heaters, and furnaces. Next slide. This provides just a little bit more detail on this. So for lighting, in the case of income eligible and public housing, there is on average about a 2% increase in incentives. On the market rate side, this is partially funded, and there have been some decreases ranging from 30 to 50%. For HVAC, for income eligible and public housing, this is partially funded with no changes from 2023. On the market rate side, this is partially funded as well. For weatherization, there are a couple of increases for income eligible. Air conditioner covers increased to $77 per unit. Air sealing and insulation increased to $3.50 for cases in which the starting R value is between R0 and R5. Air sealing only increased to $1.25. On the market rate side, this is partially funded with no changes from 2023. With respect to gas, I wanted to go over hot water boilers. For those greater than 300 MBH, there is a decrease to $5. For under 300 MBH, this is decreased to $9. On the steam boiler side, there's a reduction to $3 for those that are greater than 300 and less than 1500 MBH. And for those that exceed 1500 MBH, this is reduced to $2. For natural gas water heaters, this incentive is reduced to $65, and this is not applicable on the market rate side. For appliances, this is partially funded with no changes from 2023. And with respect to the market rate side, this is partially funded and removing all except thermostats and vending machine controls. For heat pumps, this is fully covered for income eligible and public housing with a 5% increase to tier 2 ducted and this is not applicable on the market rate side. With that, I will introduce Catherine Hart, who will take the next slide. So we'll go to the next slide.
Thank you, Eve. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Just want to spend the next couple minutes talking about network details and requirements. So the network is a closed network with ongoing registration throughout the year. We are accepting experienced weatherization, HVAC, and lighting EESPs. Similar to HES, we do have certification requirements. So weatherization requires BPI certification, and any electrical work requires ICC certification. Projects are generated via the program-driven leads or by EESP referrals. All leads will start with an energy assessment of the property as well as DI measures in tenant units, and is followed by the energy efficiency retrofit performed by the EESP. Diverse certified contractors receive program support to ensure they have a successful year. If you are a DBE and have applied for DBE certification and are interested in multifamily, please reach out to Pete Rangel for additional information. His contact information will be on the last slide. Next slide, please. So network requirements, once you reach out to Pete, he will send you a participation application. You'll sign and complete it, send it back, include your certificate of insurance and W-9, and also register for ICC by June 1st, 2024. The IWAP onboarding process is a little bit different. You'll have to complete pre-qualification, define your service territory, and sign contracts with the CAAs. However, before you begin that process, we definitely recommend that you reach out to your community action agency to ensure they're participating in the multifamily IWAP program. Next slide, please. We do have ACH incentive payments now available for a little bit quicker payments. We are anticipating having online applications in Q2 and also EESP performance snapshots available early this year. Quarterly MFES webinars and trainings. We'll have triannual EESP roundtables with discussions and quarterly in-person networking events, as well as survey questionnaires. Project lead support is available for every project from inception to completion. Email updates, we send those out regularly to the network, as well as offer QA/QC coaching. Next slide, please. If you need more information, there's a couple ways. So again, reach out to Pete Rangel. He is the outreach manager. Again, his information will be on the next slide. There's also the multifamily website on ComEd's webpage. We will have the online application coming soon, so keep an eye out in your emails, as well as a contractor page that will have more details on how to participate, tips to help you with your application, and ordering marketing materials. Next slide, please. Yeah, just wanted to say thank you. We have our contact information here. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Pete. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, team. Great info on the multifamily energy savings program there. We'll hang out here for 30 seconds or so. If anyone has questions that they haven't already asked, please put them in the Q&A. If you can't access the Q&A for some reason, feel free to put them in the chat. So we'll give it a little bit here.
Hi, Scott. We do have one question that was came in right after the last session kind of ended and we started the new one. So the question is, have there been any plans developed for IRA funds? And I'm not sure if many of our speakers can come back on the line and answer that one. That was from the home energy savings.
Hey, Angela, this is Kara. I'm happy to try to tackle that one. And so we're closely tracking and monitoring the availability of IRA funds, specifically the home energy rebate programs that includes home efficiency rebates and then the home electrification and appliance rebates. My understanding of the latest status of that was that Illinois had not yet submitted the application for those funds, so we're monitoring it closely, but at this time, the rebates are not yet available. Tax credits is a little bit different. It's my understanding that the tax credits that were made available through the IRA is something that individuals can leverage if they're eligible and qualify, but the rebates we're tracking, monitoring, and still not yet set up for our state and territory.
Great, thank you so much, Kara. At this time, see, we have one more, I think it's more of a comment. It's the Illinois EPA said they would be applying for the funds in Q1 2025. So a little bit more information there. Otherwise, no questions at this time, and we can keep it moving. Thank you.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Kara. And great segue, because we're going to jump now into the whole home electric program offering. So Kara is going to stick with us here, and Scott, you as well. So take it away, team. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much for spending the time being here. And as others said, thank you so much for your contributions to our energy efficiency portfolio and impact in 2023. Really excited to have just as an impactful or more impactful year in 2024. My name's Kara Jonas. I'm a manager at ComEd, and I'm joined today by Scott Yee, a director from Resource Innovations, and we're going to tell you about the whole home electric offering. Scott, if you want to move us to the next slide, please. So to give an overview of this offering, this is geared towards residential, income-eligible, single-family and multifamily properties, as well as buildings owned or managed by public housing authorities. And this offering focuses on converting fossil fuel appliances and heating systems, heating and cooling systems, to efficient all-electric appliances and systems. So when we think about the measures, that includes air source heat pumps, heat pump water heaters, induction cooking ranges, heat pump clothes dryers, and electrical panel upgrades. And the intent is actually, as feasible, to fully electrify the building. And we only pursue those projects that we model a positive bill impact for the customer or tenant, or put another way, as a result of the project, they can expect to save overall on their energy bills. These upgrades are actually completely free to qualifying single-family customers, and then income-eligible and public housing multifamily building owners, they may have a copay for certain measures, but the tenants would never be assessed a copay. So free for the multifamily tenants, but the building owners may be required to pay a copay. This is implemented by Resource Innovations, and then here you can see on the slide some of the impact that we had in 2023. One thing I did want to highlight was that this is a very targeted offering. So it's not like some of our other offerings where we're trying to get the word out to our broad service territory, and it's really a sign up now message, because we have to model that energy bill impact and things. Not every customer is going to be a great fit. So it's a very targeted offering. Next slide, please, Scott. So we've made some updates for 2024. So in 2023, we actually had two separate offerings targeting single family and multifamily properties. And this year we consolidated things. So we have a single offering referred to as our whole home electric offering. And then another change is actually the program name. Last year, we referred to the offering as Go Electric. So if you are familiar with Go Electric, this is essentially the same offering, but with a name change, our whole home electric offering. So that was probably the biggest change we saw in 2024, being the consolidation of the programs with the new name. We're also working to enhance our customer screening to ensure positive bill savings for the customer and overall eligibility. This is a relatively new offering within our portfolio, so we're taking a lot of the learnings on an ideal project and customer, which customers have benefited most from this offering that we've served to date, and using that as a means to inform our screening and approach for 2024. And part of that, we are focusing, identifying, and serving customers that have been previously served with weatherization. You just heard about our home energy savings and multifamily energy savings offerings. So we know that buildings that have already been air sealed and insulated, those are ideal candidates for this offering. So to the extent feasible, want to target those buildings that have already been served with those types of measures. That's not to say that's the exclusive candidate in 2024. We'll still consider projects that would have weatherization in the scope that have not been previously served, but this is a focus area for us. Next slide, please. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Scott to dig into the EESP network details.
Yeah, thanks, Kara. Appreciate it. So I'll quickly go through the service provider network details as well as some benefits, and then close with some contact information. So as Kara mentioned, we are working on establishing a closed EESP network. We actually have an RFQ that was released yesterday that's available for contractors who are interested in submitting. Our focus this year is really going to be on diverse contractors who have experience and are currently serving disadvantaged and rural communities. For the types of service providers we need, we're really looking for service providers who can help provide comprehensive project execution, meaning it is okay to use subcontractors to operate as a general contractor. Some of the key things we need is to make sure that you're familiar with heat pump sizing, heat pump water heater installation, electrical work like panel upgrades to be able to handle the additional load, as well as just all the appliances that need to occur with fossil fuel transition. As with most programs here, ICC certification is required. We're also looking to make sure that BPI certification is available either on staff or through a subcontractor, recognizing that not every project will have weatherization, but most projects will be dealing with homes that have been weatherized, and so the equipment will need to be sized, and there will need to be a load calc with that. Lastly, we are going to be working on customers that are determined eligible by a screening process. And like Kara said, customers will need to have positive bill impacts, and then customers will be assigned to the EESP. EESPs are also welcome to help identify their own customers, but all customers will need to go through the same screening process. And the next slide, I want to just talk through a few benefits. We're excited. I think this program is working with a lot of new technology, and so we're going to do everything we can to help. So some of the benefits are we're working on some comprehensive educational materials that can be used to communicate to the customer or property owner. The program is going to be working with pretty cutting edge technology, specifically some of the cold climate heat pumps that we're installing. We're excited to build a network that can contribute to broader electrification initiatives. Another benefit is really just having a direct role in supporting decarbonization. I think this is a unique program because customers will be fully removed from their original fossil fuel source in their home. We're going to be providing trainings as well. We have a regular onboarding training. We're going to have a kickoff, and then throughout the year, we'll have in-person technical trainings as needed with some of the OEMs and some of the supply houses. There's going to be dedicated customer outreach and liaison support. There's going to be technical support as well for contractors participating. And then lastly, we are going to continue to hold roundtables throughout the year. Learning from our service providers is incredibly important, and we want to continue to evolve the program to make it work. And then lastly, we'll also be having plenty of opportunities to provide feedback via surveys. So just for offering context and next steps, Mary Johnson's actually has oversight of this program. She's a principal on my team who can't be here today. My contact's there too for this. And then we have a website. It's ComEd.com/wholehome-electric. And then we also have an email address down here. Sorry, it's kind of long, wholehome-electric@resourceinnovations.com. And so if you are interested in this RFQ, we can If you send us an email here, we can get it out to you. I think that's it for me. I can turn it back to Scott.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott and Kara. Really exciting new program here. And thanks for all the good information. We will hold it open here for 30 seconds or so. If anyone has questions they want to put in the Q&A Hangouts. See if anyone has them. Again, if you can't access the Q&A, you can put them in the chat. We'll try and check both, but if you can, do your best to please put questions in the Q&A section.
Hi, Scott. Currently, we don't have any questions in
Great.
either Q&A or chat, and Brittany and
Great.
I are monitoring both pretty closely. So again, folks, just type your questions in at any time, and we'll make sure that we get answers for you. So thank you.
Thank you, Angela. All right. In the interest of time, I think we'll keep rolling. We can come back to anything if it comes up. But I'm gonna switch gears to our next program offering, which is the home heating and cooling program. And for that, I would like to introduce and hand it over to Matt Sokolowski. Matt, take it away.
Thank you very much. Like he said, I'm Matt Sokolowski. I am the program manager for D&B for home heating and cooling. Joined here this morning by Violetta Ryman, who is the senior program manager from ComEd. So moving along, let's look into the overview of the offering. Home heating and cooling offers midstream incentives on energy efficient heat pumps installed in ComEd ratepayers' homes. This discount is applied at the point of sale from authorized and enrolled distributors. The program does offer a downstream element via authorized contractors installing eligible geothermal heat pumps into ratepayers' homes. We're going to talk about that in a little more detail a little bit later on. As far as measures for the program, this is a heat pump program now officially. We have air source heat pumps in 2 different tiers in our midstream section. We also have a single tier of mini split heat pumps. And then we have 2 types of ground source heat pumps that we'll talk about in that downstream version. Incentives can only be offered to heat pump contractors that have completed program training requirements. We're going to dig into that a little bit deeper in another slide as well. Like I mentioned, the implementing contractor for this program is D&B. That's my company. And a couple of highlights from 2023. So we were able to save over 13 million traditional net kilowatt hours and over 26 million electrification net kilowatt hours. And this came primarily through the install of 4,846 heat pumps through this program. A really great job by our network getting these into the market. Moving along to some specific updates now, our distributors in 2024. The requirement to be a distributor in the program, you have to sign a participation agreement. That is the contract, the rules of the road for the program, kind of gives you the guidelines of what to expect and what we expect from you. A couple of updates as far as specifications go. We are no longer going by SEER. This is a SEER 2 specification, and that's the spec that we will adhere to in 2024. No more SEER is going to be accepted. Another big change, distributor funding allocations. So in our participation agreement, we did allocate 6 months worth of funds to each person in our each company, in our distributor network. And those allocations will be updated and amended throughout the year, not just after the 6-month period. But the point here, we really want to mention funding's limited. We have a finite amount of money to deal with. So we want you as contractors to get involved with your distributor early and often. The incentives for the program, like I mentioned, we have 2 tiers for air source heat pumps. Tier 1, you get up to $1,200 per unit. In our tier 2, up to $1,400 per unit. As far as mini split heat pumps, we have that single tier at $1,000 per unit. And then the 2 types of ground source. The indoor replacement gets from $800 to $1,200 per unit, and that full system is up to $6,000 per home. A couple of benefits to being in the distributor network. First and foremost, you are assigned an outreach professional, which is your guide to the ins and outs of this program and can help you find other contacts for other avenues in the portfolio. Of course, you have the ability to offer incentives to the market, which of course is the big one here. ACH payments available. Go paperless. You get your checks quicker if you go that route. Technical support from our project coordinators, analysts, and engineering teams. Access to marketing collateral, the program guides, the various leave behinds we have for dealers and homeowners. Program design input. This is a big one. We thrive on the feedback and the notes that you have on the program being the ones that you are putting it into the market. So we love to capture that feedback. And lastly, for distributors, access to webinars like we're on this morning. Moving right along here, like I mentioned, heat pump contractors in 2024. If you're a contractor and you're looking to obtain heat pump incentives from one of our authorized distributors and then be placed on the ComEd website as a heat pump contractor, you must complete 2 different sets of trainings. The first set is some online modules, which you can see the 4 tracks here for air source heat pump applications, replacing air conditioners with air source heat pumps, heat pump control strategies and best practices, and also designing air source heat pumps with sizing and selection in mind. That's the first track. We also have the ability for you to attend live webinars, so please reach out if you're looking to get a live webinar for those as well. Those are coming up this month, as a matter of fact. There's also the second track, which is manufacturer training. A contractor has to attend at least 1 session from their manufacturer representative or distributor where they're talking about heat pump installation and best practices. Through these 2 tracks, currently we have 160 contractor companies listed on the ComEd website as eligible to get heat pump incentives from our distributors. And I really just want to send a shout out to those contractors for completing those requirements, our distributors for the lift that you put forth to get them listed and trained, and of course the manufacturers for shepherding all this through. So thank you very much for your efforts there. Last thing for contractors, our downstream incentives have been removed from the program. Those service-based measures we had in 2023 of air conditioner tune-ups, heat pump tune-ups, and duct sealing have been removed from the program. We did receive low volume on those, so I don't think it'll really hurt anybody much. But we also are removing the measure smart thermostats. We did get those in some volume, but those incentives are available through the ComEd Marketplace and various other entities. Moving along to our last segment here of the program, those geothermal heat pump service providers in 2024. Requirements, you must be ICC certified. Like we talked about earlier, it eclipses that $300 threshold in incentives. You have to have a specific geothermal certification. Right now, the program sees 2 and lists 2 as qualifications: the Geothermal Alliance of Illinois, or GAIO, or the International Ground Source Heat Pump Association, IGSHPA. Say that 5 times fast. We will accept equivalent certification if you have that. So please bring that to the program, and we will vet and then accept if it meets all guidelines. And the last thing for a requirement, there is a participation agreement for geothermal contractors. It is different from our distributor one we mentioned earlier, obviously, because this is a different segment of the program. Benefits, trainings. We do trainings not just on the program and how to use it and fill out applications, but we also provide and host trainings to get certified for geothermal contractors. You have in-field program team access. That's inspections are going to happen on 100% of these installs. So our inspectors will come out and talk program, or if you would like to have a site visit with one of our outreach professionals or program representatives, we can get on the field with you and talk with your customer about the program. Outreach and or technical support from the program team. Like I mentioned before, we have coordinators, analysts, and engineers that can help you with your program needs, along with the outreach professionals that will really guide you through the ins and outs of the program. And the last thing, like I mentioned before, we thrive on input and feedback on how we can improve the program direction. So we encourage you to bring that to us. Moving along here, where are you going to get more information? We have a couple links here to the websites that you can get incentive information. Program guides are located on our midstream login portal. You don't need to log in to get it. To get these the guides, you can get them right on the login page. And of course, for listings of the authorized distributors, those geothermal service providers, and of course our heat pump contractors, the ComEd website, link right there. Any questions, any concerns that you might have throughout the program here, please feel free to contact me. That's my information right there. And either myself or a member of the HHC team will reach out to you. Thank you very much for your time this morning, and we can see if we have any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matt. Great info there on the home heating and cooling program. Yeah, let's hang out for 30 seconds or so, see if anyone has questions that they haven't already answered in the Q&A. You can put them in the chat, like we said, if you can't access the Q&A, but try and direct them to the Q&A. So we'll hang out here for just a couple seconds.
Hi, Scott. So far, no questions in the chat, no questions in the Q&A. Awesome. And yeah, so we'll keep monitoring. And if any questions come up in the next session, we'll make sure we track those. And just an FYI, team and attendees, we will make sure that all the questions get answered, even if they come in the very end and those speakers are already done. We'll make sure we get answers for you post-webinar.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate it. We're going to keep moving on here again in the interest of time. So that concludes our residential program offerings section. So we're doing pretty good on time. We're about 5 minutes behind, which is good with me. So coming up next, we've got 2 more sections. All right, so I hope you can stick around with us for as much as possible. We'll have the commercial and industrial program offerings next. So those are listed out here. And then our last session will be additional tools and offerings, which again will be lots of good information on different parts throughout the portfolio, and concluding with information on our beneficial electrification plan. So hope you can stick around with us. I'm going to take just 1 minute or so here to switch the slide decks. So if everyone just wants to hang tight, I'll get that pulled up, and I will introduce the next session. All right, thank you very much.
Just a reminder, we've had some new folks join throughout the morning. So we are recording this webinar. It will be available to you post this event, as well as the slides, and as well as any questions that were not answered live during the sessions. As you come in, your phone lines are muted. And so we encourage you to use the Q&A function. We're trying to corral most of the questions in the Q&A. If you do not have access to that for any reason, a very mysterious reason, I might add, please use chat, and we'll make sure that we have all those questions addressed. In addition, for attendees who have just joined, we are keeping time for our speakers, and so you may see the surprise emoji pop up from my screen. It looks like this. That's letting our speakers know that they are getting close to the end of their time, and that we will soon be doing Q&A. So, pay no attention to that. That's the wizard behind the curtain. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Scott.
Awesome. Thank you, Angela. Appreciate it. If you weren't on at the beginning, welcome. Thank you for joining. This is the 2024 EESP Kickoff. We're moving on to the commercial and industrial offerings section of the webinar. I'm Scott Grost. I'm a senior program manager overseeing the EESP network at the portfolio level. We've got Angela, who you just heard from, and another colleague, Brittany, helping things run smoothly in the background. So thank you to them. And thank you for joining and spending time with us, especially if you've hung around since the start. So we're going to roll into the C&I offerings here. I'm going to pull up the lineup here for you. So we're going to hear from all of the C&I offerings that maintain EESP networks, right? So you'll hear from all these program offerings listed here. A couple webinar reminders. Angela spoke to some of these already. We will ask that if anyone has questions, because you are in listen-only mode, to please direct those questions to the Q&A section of the webinar. And if you can't access that, put them in the chat, and we'll answer anything that we have time for, and we'll respond and follow up to questions after the webinar we can't get to. A couple reminders here on being an EESP and what that means, especially if you weren't able to join at the beginning. If you discover throughout this webinar or down the road that you'd like to participate in the network of another offering, we ask that you please complete the EESP application that's linked here and send it to the email address listed. That will make its way to the program offering, who will review your references, project experience, reach out if they need any more information. And as a reminder, all program offerings, right, the EESP networks require a couple basic things. You may hear networks referred to as open networks or closed networks throughout this section. All of them are EESP networks, and to be an EESP, you need to do these couple things. So the first one is sign an EESP agreement or a contractor participation agreement. Hopefully, most of you have already had that come across your desk and have executed it. If not, you'll be getting it very, very soon because we need new agreements in place for the new program year here. It does require compliance with ComEd marketing rules, right? So I've got a couple examples of what's in there to the right, but there is a full marketing rules document that if you haven't seen, your IC will make available to you. It has things like how to use correct terminology and how to use the ComEd name and logo, or how not to use it, more importantly. And then the last thing is ICC certification, right? And annual renewal as applicable. So that is required for all contractors and especially EESPs as applicable. There may be other requirements that the program offering specifies. Some of those examples are here, and they will spell those out during their presentations. And then here to the right is just a couple screenshots. So you've got your application, you've got some agreement highlights, you've got a renewal letter for the ICC certification, and below some examples of the ComEd logo. So as a reminder, you should really never be using the ComEd logo on its own, or the ComEd logo with the program identifier on its own there, those ones on the left that are crossed out, unless of course they are on, you know, a header or something of a piece of collateral that the program's made available. Things that you may use if the program offering makes them available are on the right, which is the modified program identifier there on the top. You can use that in your email signature on your company website, and or things like the co-branded identifier card, again, if they're made available. So just some reminders there so that everyone, so that no one rather is surprised if those come from your IC. So with that, we would like to get rolling here with the first program offering, which is the standard program offering. And so with that, I would like to pass it to Emily and Elon. Take it away, team.
All right. Hi, everybody, and good morning. I'm Emily Paulai, the Standard Offering Program Manager on the ComEd side. Thank you for joining us today and for working hard with us through 2023 to close out a really strong year. We've made some key updates to the standard offering in large part based on your feedback. I've heard that several times already from everyone. We really value all the input that you provide to us throughout the year. For standard, this includes focusing on streamlining the application review process. We've also right-sized some incentives to ensure that they're used most effectively, and we can also even increase some specific measure categories where we'd like to encourage some more growth. We wish you a very successful 2024, and I'll turn it over to Elon Kapadia to walk us through the details for standard.
Hey, good morning, everyone. The standard program offers incentives for commercial, industrial, and public sector customers. We've got a very large comprehensive list of energy efficiency measures that are available for incentives that can be found on the application and website. The standard program has a two-tiered service provider network, so both open and closed. As Emily mentioned, we had a great year in 2023, over $55 million in incentives paid and 182 net gigawatt hours saved. We've got a couple links below where you can find our online portal to apply to projects, as well as the PDF application. We've got some new things coming in 2024. So we've got some incentive rate and unit adjustments. We also have an additional incentive that we're providing that we'll go deeper into. And as Emily mentioned, continued improvements to the application processing and inspections. So some of the changes that we have to our incentives. Lighting has always been a strong pillar of the program. We see lots of participation. So we've focused a lot of our incentive increases on some of the non-lighting measures to help boost participation, specifically in refrigeration and compressed air measures. Some of these increases saw over 50% increases. We're very excited about them, and there's a full list of changes to the measure incentives in the link below. Additionally, we've changed some of our lighting incentives. We did decrease our indoor and outdoor LED fixtures and retrofits slightly to align a little bit closer with the small business offering. You'll also notice a shift in the network lighting control measures where the fixture incentive increased and the control incentive decreased. The goal was to make that net neutral. This was based directly on some service provider feedback to more heavily incentivize reducing watts rather than oversizing equipment in order to control more watts. So we appreciate all feedback we get, and we try to incorporate it into the program design. Next slide. We've got some other changes to our incentives. So specifically, there are some areas where measure units have changed. So I think at a high level, it looks like the chiller incentives reduced by a lot, but I do want to call out that it went from per ton to per IPLV improvement per ton. Our aim was to make that also net neutral. We've also made a change to our LED grow lights from per watt reduced to per PPE improvement per watt. So just some measure unit changes to be cognizant of. We're also excited to announce a couple new measures to the program. So we've got a new measure for network lighting control systems, specifically for LED grow lights. And then we also have a new measure of switch reluctance motors, and that's going to be launching in February. We do have 2 additional project incentives that we're going to be offering for this program. We have a goal to increase participation in underserved communities. So we did add an additional incentive of 15% for projects within those communities. And I do just want to note that that 15% additional incentive for select communities is retroactive to pre-applications that were submitted in 2023. So if the project is finishing in 2024 but applied in 23, you will be eligible for that increased incentive. Additionally, similar to 2023, we do have a 10% Made in Illinois bonus. That's available to all private and public customers that are installing equipment that's at least 50% manufactured or assembled in Illinois. And I also want to note that those 2 incentives can be stacked within our program offering. Just got some program reminders here. We will be requiring lighting fixtures to be DLC 5.1 certified. So we're no longer going to be accepting DLC 5.0 fixtures. We have heard feedback about really long equipment lead times for chillers. So we wanted to make sure that there's a level of continuity there. So we're making the incentive to be reserved through the following year. So for any 2023 chiller projects that will be paid in 2024, you'll be able to take advantage of the 2023 incentive rates. And the same is going to hold true for 2024 to the 2025 calendar year. Additionally, based on some service provider feedback, we've decided to cap the total incentive of project cost at 90%. That's a change from 2023, where we allowed up to 100% of the project cost to be covered by incentives. This is based on some service provider feedback where, in some situations where historically 100% of the project cost would be covered, but then potentially there was a scope change at some point where 100% of the project wouldn't be covered, had appearance of a little bit of a bait and switch. So we're hoping to change the optics there with this change. Additionally, it helped us provide an opportunity to increase some of our other incentives like refrigeration and compressed air measures, as well as serve even more measures this year and even more projects this year. We are making continuous improvements to the online portal. We've gotten a lot of feedback on areas we can improve. We're going to be rolling out those improvements throughout the year, and please do provide feedback on that. It helps us make it that much better. And then pre-applications that were submitted in 2023 are going to be subject to the 2024 program incentive changes, with the exception of the chiller projects. Our East network, I mentioned we have an open network and a closed network. So any new contractors that want to be part of the network, please submit an application. A CPA or contractor participation agreement is required, and if approved, you'll be able to join the network. Additionally, we have a closed network, and that's administered by an RFQ process. The schedule for that in 2024 is to be determined. We're definitely looking for more contractors to join the closed network, specifically when you have open network experience, and really looking to add more diverse business enterprises to our closed network. LED retrofits has always been a very strong part of our program. But we're also looking to add some non-LED contractors. So things like refrigeration, compressed air, HVAC, maybe specific to network lighting controls, to join the network. And then just some offering specific nuances here. We do offer free facility assessments for sites over 400 kW in demand. And another just reminder, pre-approval is required for the vast majority of applications that come into the program. I'd like to highlight some of the differences and benefits of the open network and closed network. So the open network, you have access to some in-field support, annual service provider trainings, and a network of all the other service providers. For those who join the closed network, it's the same as the open network, but in addition, you do get some dedicated service provider outreach. We have bi-monthly webinars and quarterly roundtables. There's a service provider portal that has all sorts of great information there, including the marketing materials toolkit that has some co-branded materials. And then we do have project coordinators on our team to provide technical support throughout the program lifecycle. You're also able to provide input on our program offering, and we listen to all the feedback we get to try to make the program better serve our service providers. You can find more information on the website. So we've got a link to the online portal as well as the PDF application. We are trying to promote the online portal as much as possible. So I encourage everyone to apply for their projects through the online portal. And then we've got some links as well for different resources. And next slide. The main point of contact for this program is Chad Lively. He's the outreach manager for the ComEd standard program. You can also feel free to reach out to myself, Ilan Kapadia, as the program manager. And just as a reminder, if you have any questions, feel free to drop any questions in the Q&A button at the top of the menu bar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ilan and Emily. Great info on the standard program offering. So as Ilan said, any questions, please drop them into the Q&A. If you can't access the Q&A, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll hang out here for just a little bit and see if anyone has questions.
Yeah, there's currently no questions in the chat or the Q&A. And thanks so much, Emily, for dropping that link in to those standard incentives. That's very helpful as well. So yeah, we're monitoring the chat and the Q&A, and so far we don't have any questions for standard.
Right. Sounds good. Well, we'll keep rolling in the interest of time. As mentioned, if you have questions that you think of later, please still drop them in the chat or the Q&A, and we'll follow up with answers. So we'll keep rolling in the interest of time. I'd like to move to the small business program offering. And with that, I would like to introduce Catherine and Amelia from that team. So team, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Good morning, everyone. I'm Catherine Allen, the Senior Program Manager for Small Business, and joining me today is Amelia Magdaleno from our Implementer Resource Innovations. I'm going to share some high-level information, and then Amelia will give you more details about our 2024 incentives, our closed network of service providers, and how you can join the Small Business Network. Next slide, please. All righty, thank you. So the small business program, for those of you that aren't aware of it, we've been around for 11 years and over 11 years, and Resource Innovations, which was formerly Nexent, has managed the program since we began. So in addition, we've had several changes. Big one is that the offering eligibility has grown substantially from 100 kW to 400 kW peak demand, which is just amazing. We're working to help a lot of both private and public sector customers overcome various barriers to participation, and we're continuing to work in underserved communities and also seek diverse contractors to participate in small business, as several of the other program offerings have also mentioned. Building types are across the board, both public and private. So office, warehouse, very, very popular. The public side, a lot of libraries, police and fire stations, and more to come. We've got a closed network, 77 service providers, and as has also been mentioned, I think Nick mentioned earlier this morning, we're focusing on longer life measures, more comprehensive and non-lighting incentives like HVAC, refrigeration, compressed air. In terms of lead generation for small business, our service providers generate about 90% of their own project leads from their direct sales and outreach efforts. We do also have 2 dedicated outreach representatives for the program for small business offering. And we do also then have self-serve like the other programs do on the ComEd website and then through the 800 number for our call center. You can find a lot more information about small biz on the ComEd website. The high level, give you an idea, we had a fabulous year in 2023, and we really thank all of our service providers in the closed network in 2023. It was a fabulous year. Roughly 6,000 projects, over 79 million in incentives, and we had over 224 gigawatt hours in savings. That's the largest we've ever done. Fabulous year. Thanks again to everybody. For 2024, we're budgeting, we've got a goal of roughly 249 gigawatt hours of savings. So that goal we keep getting bigger. We're not going to be the small business program, but it's a fabulous goal. We've got a great team to work toward that. In terms of just a reminder for everybody also, just our budget and goals essentially are based on legislative requirements, which were mentioned earlier this morning, and the small business pipeline needs of what we need to get to be able to help us reach that 249 gigawatt hour savings for 2024. We've got a lot coming down the pike, great program, great team. But now I'm going to turn you over to Amelia, who will tell you more about the incentives, our closed network service providers, and how you can join us. So over to you, Amelia.
Thank you, Catherine. Good morning, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Amelia Magdaleno. I'm the program manager with Resource Innovations for the small biz offering. So as Catherine mentioned, small business has a completely closed network. So our service providers are very high touch and just very comprehensive with their technical abilities. They're responsible for conducting the initial assessment of small biz customers and are critical to our program's success because, as Catherine also mentioned, you all bring about 90% of our leads into the program. So those come directly from your outreach and sales staff. After the assessment is completed, the service provider is responsible for completing all program paperwork. So this includes any customer reports, pre-applications, assessment reports, etc. Then they complete the measure installation, gain customer sign-off once the project is complete, and then those incentives that are offered through the small business offering typically cover between 50 and 75% of project costs. The small business network is completely digital. So the paperwork that I mentioned a little bit ago is completely submitted online via our mobile assessment tool. So it's a very seamless process, which we're very proud of. And service provider support also includes technical trainings and in-field support from our staff. You're assigned a project coordinator point of contact. So that's your main point of contact person that you can connect with any questions that you might have on the program or your customers or your projects. We do 4 roundtables per year and monthly webinars so that we can get feedback directly from you all. That definitely informs kind of the program design for small business. Performance coaching, and we also offer various customer campaigns throughout the year. Next slide. All right, so new for 2024, we do have 4 new measures that are available to the offering, which include reach-in cooler gaskets and reach-in freezer gaskets, as well as walk-in cooler gaskets and walk-in freezer gaskets. So those incentives are all listed right there. This is part of an effort as well to kind of increase our comprehensiveness, really lean into the trends that we've seen in refrigeration participation. So we're very excited to offer this for the 2024 year. Slide. We have some additional adjustments to incentives here. The ones that you're looking at on screen are primarily lighting. So we are pleased to say that we were able to increase our lighting incentives sort of across the board here. So you can see the 2023 incentive and the 2024 incentive on the right there. I won't go through all of these one by one, but these bring us back to some depressed incentives that we had at the end of 2023. Next slide. Continuing to talk about incentive updates. So we have made some other adjustments across the board here. So network lighting controls were decreased slightly from the 2023 program year. We also have some changes to advanced rooftop controls. Those were increased slightly this year. Thermostats and no loss condensates were decreased. Compressed air pressure reduction, was increased slightly this year. Roof insulation was increased slightly this year, and weather stripping was decreased slightly this year. So all of these incentives kind of serve our budget and our goals for the 2024 program year. In addition to changes in base incentives, we do have 2 additional project incentives in market right now. So we have a public sector promotional campaign in market and a 15% additional incentive promotional campaign. These are stackable, and I'm going to go into detail on both campaigns on the next couple slides here. So on the public sector promotional campaign, this is a 15% additional project incentive. This is available to all public sector small business customers. So this applies to new, completed, and correct pre-applications that are submitted between December 18th, so a little bit ago, and May 31st, or before promotional funds are fully reserved. Projects must be completed and invoiced by July 31st in order to be eligible for the incentive. Promotional materials were provided to some of the service providers in an email, so those are available to you in your inbox. And this can be combined with the 15% additional incentive that I will discuss on the next slide. But just before I get there, these additional project incentives are capped at $10,000 per customer account or $20,000 per customer account when combined with the next promotional campaign. So we want to go to the next slide. So the 15% additional incentive promotional campaign is available to to customers in select communities. So this is customers in underserved areas or disadvantaged communities. Again, this applies to new, completed, and correct pre-applications that are submitted between earlier this month on January 2nd and between March 31st or before funds are fully reserved. Projects that can be eligible for this incentive must be invoiced by May 31st. As well as with the other campaign, small business service providers have promotional materials and more information about this already in your inbox. And like I mentioned, this can be combined with the public sector campaign. Next slide. So if you're interested in becoming more involved with the small business network, we are always looking for service providers that can serve rural and underserved areas and that have comprehensive experience, so more than just lighting experience. We're also looking for diverse customers or contractors, excuse me, with successful energy efficiency experience. We typically offer an RFP to join the closed network about twice per year. So we just brought in 6 new service providers at the end of 23. So you will kind of be hearing from us about whether or not we'll have a mid-year RFP in the coming months. The expectations to be a small business service provider is that you submit a minimum of 6 completed projects per quarter, as well as offer premier customer service, are comprehensive in the type of technical work that you're available to offer, do high quality work, and be able to support our team with project and financial forecasting. So if you're interested in learning more, you can see the Small Biz website linked at the bottom there, and you can also reach out to our service provider manager, Anthony Romano. His information is there, and you can reach out to myself as well, Amelia. So thank you so much.
Right. Thank you, team. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you, Catherine. Anyone that has any questions, please drop them in the Q&A or the chat. We'll hang out here for a couple minutes.
So we have one question so far that's come in, Scott and team. Have the trade ally surveys gone out to be eligible to receive customer leads?
I believe that has gone out, but we will double check and we can get back to you. But those should be going out shortly if they haven't already.
We do have a question specific to the disadvantaged community incentive. On an original email, the email indicated final applications were to be submitted by September 31st. Can you confirm the date that those are to be turned in?
So invoices for the disadvantaged community campaign, the 15% additional incentive campaign, should be fully completed by July 31st. So September 30th I don't believe that was communicated, but yeah, that would be July 31st. And we will let you all know if that is extended for any reason.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That is all of the questions that we have at this time. Thank you.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Amelia, Catherine, for all the great info on the small business program. We're going to keep moving on here. So transitioning to the instant discounts program, would like to introduce Jaleesa Scott and Sarah Evans. Take it away, team.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Jaleesa Scott. I'm the Senior Program Manager here at ComEd. I'm presenting the Instant Discounts offering alongside Sarah Evans, the Program Manager at our implementation contractor, DNV. Next slide, please. Awesome. So Instant Discounts is a midstream point of sale offering that targets business customers through distributors. This year, our incentive categories will be lighting, HVAC, and fork trucks. We're excited to offer what we call an energy efficiency electrification incentive, also known as EEE, specifically on our fuel switch fork trucks, as well as certain heat pump products in our HVAC measure. This allows us to claim additional EEE savings, as well as pass along a higher incentive to the customer. The instant discounts incentive is provided at the point of sale by the distributor. There's no incentive application necessary, but customers can only gain access to the incentive through a participating distributor. In 2023, we had over 130 participating distributors, over 100 gigawatt hours of savings passed through to our customers, and over 1.2 million units incentivized. Sarah will present more on the measure level detail coming up, but I encourage everyone to check out the offering guides at our web links below. If we can go to the next slide, perfect. Next, we'll talk about our distributor network. Instant Discounts operates as a closed network with open enrollment. A participation agreement is required to join the network, and only enrolled distributors have access to the instant discounts incentive. Once enrolled, distributors process incentive payment requests through DMV's midstream portal. There are a few additional requirements for distributors to follow to remain compliant within our offering, such as they must be an authorized distributor of the product offered. The incentive cannot be applied towards transactions with other distributors, and distributors must verify that the equipment is being purchased for a ComEd customer. A list of our participating distributors can be found on the ComEd Instant Discount webpage and the link included in this slide deck. We can go to the next slide. Awesome. So here we'll highlight some of the benefits of being part of the Instant Discounts Network. Our distributors have access to marketing materials upon request. The implementation team will support various trainings such as onboarding tasks for new participants, a program year kickoff where we review updates and new incentives, as well as hands-on portal training. Each distributor is assigned an outreach professional that they can contact directly with questions about the offering. And they also have access to a responsive implementation team to support any admin or tech questions that may come up. Our distributors are invited to provide input on our offering design and products through roundtables, surveys, and webinars that we hold throughout the year. And with that, I'll pass it along to Sarah.
Great, thank you, Jaleesa. Again, I'm Sarah Evans with DNV, Program Manager for Instant Discounts. As you can see here, our updated lighting incentives listed on the right. This year for lighting, Instant Discounts has increased the limit on DLC fixtures from 250 to 500 fixtures per customer account per year. We do have distributors inform customers of higher incentives offered through standard and small business offerings. Another update for ID lighting, we are no longer providing an approved product list for DLC listed products, but those can be found at designlights.org. As we move on to HVAC portion of our program, for 2024, a big focus for Instant Discounts is our launch of EEE heat pumps. You will see on the right-hand side here a full breakdown of all air source heat pump and mini split heat pump units eligible for incentives in the 2024 HVAC Instant Discounts program. Building on the great success we've seen in our midstream home heating and cooling program with heat pumps, we've worked hard to align our incentives and efficiency requirements with HHC for all mini split and air source heat pumps below 5.4 tons for 2024. This will allow for easier and more robust adoption for contractors, as well as a simplification of stocking patterns for participating distributors. We've also increased incentives on heat pumps between 5.4 and 20 tons by 80%, helping to bridge the gap on price between DX cooled equipment and heat pump equipment in this size range. Two things to note this year for participation is that all non-warehouse facilities that pay into the ComEd Energy Efficiency Fund qualify, as do all installation types. Additionally, all projects seeking a total incentive amount totaling $10,000 or more do need to reach out to their outreach professional with project information and timeline prior to the sale of that equipment. And then moving on also for 2024, as most of you are aware, in Illinois, we have now officially adopted IECC 2021. One important exception to note, per the direction of the Department of Energy, Phase 3 equipment under 5.4 tons will, however, stay aligned with ICC 2018 until January 1st of 2025. As we look at the new requirements for 2024 in Illinois, we are seeing an average of 15% efficiency increase on code level baselines for most commercial equipment, which has brought with it a significant bump in minimum efficiency requirements to qualify for the Instant Discounts program for 2024 compared to 2023. As a result, we anticipate less of the distributor stocked equipment from all manufacturers qualifying for incentives in 2024 compared to what we saw last year. A full breakdown of DX cooled rooftop units and their corresponding efficiency requirements and incentive levels per ton can be found in the chart on the right-hand side here. Please note that while in years past, we were able to make exceptions for units over 100 tons, this year we do have a hard cap on the 100-ton limit. Okay, and moving on, last but certainly not least, Instant Discounts fork trucks on unprecedented success in last year's launch. Thank you to our network. We have made some changes to the offering based on lessons learned in 2023. Just as a reminder, we incentivize new lithium-ion fork trucks for OSHA classifications 1, 2, and 3. You can see the new 2024 incentives for both the fuel switching, which would be, replacing a fossil fuel truck with lithium-ion powered equipment, ranging from $8,000 to $20,000 based on the equipment voltage. ID also offers a non-fuel switch incentive ranging from $1,700 to $4,000. Instant Discounts does allow for incentive stacking, so customers can receive an additional $500 discount on the purchase of their high-efficiency charger. Another important update for 2024 is the 33% equipment price cap, not to exceed the full incentive values you can see here. And Instant Discounts is also excited to welcome a new outreach professional for fork trucks, Romeo Dedicatoria. And moving on to the next slide, Instant Discounts can be reached through the Energy Efficiency Hotline and the ComEd website. And then we have a full list here of contact information for our outreach team. And finally on this slide, phone and email contacts for both Jaleesa and myself. Please feel free to reach out with any questions or more information on our offering. Thank you again, everyone, for your time today. We are looking forward to a great 2024 program year.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah and Jaleesa. Great information on the Instant Discounts program offering. If anyone has questions, please direct them to the Q&A section. If you can't access the Q&A, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll hang out here for just a short while we see if anything comes in.
Thanks, Scott. So far, there are no Instant Discounts questions. And a big thank you to the folks that are commenting on some questions that were from the two previous. If you saw those in the chat, we appreciate that help and answering those in real time. But at this moment, we have nothing in the chat and nothing in the Q&A for Instant Discounts.
It's fantastic. Well, let's keep rolling. Thank you again, Sarah and Jaleesa. We're gonna keep moving forward, and we're gonna actually stick with Jaleesa here for the Illinois Commercial Food Service program offering. So we'll let her take it away and introduce her colleague. I believe Greg is stepping in to join her. So Jaleesa, take it away.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Me again, Jaleesa Scott, Program Manager here at ComEd. I'll now be presenting Illinois Commercial Food Service offering with Greg Sorensen from Frontier Energy. It is important to note that Karina Patton is actually the lead program manager at Frontier for the offering, but she was unable to make it today. So Greg is stepping in on her behalf. Next slide, please. Awesome. With the commercial food service offering, non-residential customers receive a point of sale discount on qualifying commercial food service equipment purchased through a participating supplier. Our distributor network consists of enrolled dealers or manufacturers that sell directly to the customer. A participation agreement is also required to join this network, and currently to support their participation, we are offering enrolled distributors a spiff or a small incentive on each unit of equipment that they sell through the offering. Right now, we have 25 food service measures, including cooking, refrigeration, and sanitation equipment. It is important to note and special about this program that it is a statewide dual fuel, so both gas and power program. So in addition to ComEd, Ameren, Illinois for both gas and power, along with Nicor Gas, Peoples Gas, and North Shore Gas, participate in incentivizing food service equipment. All participating utilities utilize the same implementation team and contacts. So the offering is implemented by Frontier Energy in partnership with Energy Solutions, Energy Sciences, and Mulder Consulting. Next slide, please. So the 2023 results shown here are just for ComEd only. In 2023, we had about 1,200 megawatt hours in savings. We incentivized 475 pieces of equipment through 25 participating dealers and reached just over 400 customers. The incentive data below shows the split between public and private for both savings and incentive dollars. And additionally, you can see on the right our measure mix for 2023, with refrigeration leading the way and being the largest incentivized category. And with that, I'll pass it along to Greg.
Excellent. Thank you, Jaleesa. I am Greg Sorensen from Frontier Energy. I assist Karina with program management on the project. And to continue with our updates for 2024, as Jaleesa mentioned, we have 25 different measure categories, but we're always looking to expand those to extend the program's reach. So we're happy to announce pressure fryers, which you often see in fried chicken operations, gas and induction cooktops, and a different category of dishwasher. We already have several dishwasher categories in the measure list. This is another variation. Some of our incentives have gone up for 2024. Some of our incentives have gone down, and I have some additional information for that on the next slide. This is a list of all of the electric and dual fuel measures. As mentioned, this is a statewide program. It covers electric and gas appliances. The takeaway here is you will see a number of increases, number of decreases, and some incentive levels that have stayed the same. These changes are largely driven by the technical resource manual savings calculations for these measures. Since this is somewhat of a relatively new program, we are still working on evolving the savings calculations. We had some significant changes for certain measure categories, so that's why you will see some of these incentives adjusting. We also continue to do a little more detailed categorization of these different appliance measure categories. As you know, food service equipment, like any other cooking appliance, can come in all shapes and sizes. So we split these into more specific categories, and they can have significant differences in their savings based on their size. Also, sometimes when we have a new measure introduced to the program, we will have a bit of an increased savings to help generate some interest in it. Then once it gains some traction, we feel more comfortable with dialing back the incentive a little bit when it has that momentum. The next slide will talk about our participation network. And the participation is limited to dealers, distributors, and manufacturers of food service equipment. We have 62 enrolled participants right now. We have 32 actively participating. What you can see to the right is the chart that shows the participation level by different participants. So this is one area we're constantly encouraging our participants to move the equipment that's in the program. We do not limit these participants to Illinois. So while we have many local Illinois, like mom and pop, smaller type distributors, we also have larger national participants, which are manufacturers and larger distribution networks. We do have a participation agreement that we require everybody to sign with us before they participate. And we're also excited for a focus in our participation network for 2024 to really go after those diverse and disadvantaged communities. There's the phone number here that is for anybody that's interested in more information on the program. We'll repeat that here in a subsequent slide. The next slide talks about the participation benefits. So we are directly dealing with the participants as the implementer. So We make sure we have a robust onboarding process where we're educating the participant. They're the ones that are interacting directly with the customer. So we want to make sure they understand the benefits of the equipment. Not only is it more efficient, it's going to save them money, it's also higher performance, which is very important in a restaurant. We also have continuing on-demand support for all of our participants, and they are assigned a specific outreach member. So there's, continuous relationship there where they feel comfortable reaching out if they have any questions. We, of course, support them with marketing flyers, stickers that they can put on the equipment when they have it in their showrooms. We do quarterly mailers. Jaleesa also mentioned that we do offer a small incentive to the participants called the SPIF, where every piece of equipment they move in the program, they get a small incentive that goes directly to them. And of course, there always is the desire to get feedback. We want to know what's working, what isn't working. So we provide surveys to our participants, and that way we continue to improve the program. Next slide's got some information. The program website is il-foodservicerebates.com. All the equipment that qualifies under the program is on a list that is updated monthly. We also have a dedicated portal for the participants. Once they sign up, they have access, and this is where they submit their claims. So the customer sees the incentive immediately, and then we work with the participant to get them reimbursed. We have our outreach team that is available both by email and by toll-free phone. And our last slide shows the offering contacts. Of course, we have Karina Payton as the main program manager. If anybody's interested in more information, how to sign up, Jamal Taylor's your guy. He's our lead outreach coordinator. So thank you everyone for your time.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Greg and Jaleesa. Great info there. Thanks for providing it all. I think we may have had a question. Angela jumping on. Anyone else, if you have questions, again, please put them in the Q&A or chat. And Angela, I'll let you take it away.
Sure, absolutely. We have a question about, is there a list of qualified distributors? And I'm not sure if this is for the instant discounts or the food service, but I think if we have links to either one, if we can drop those in, we'll make that happen. But team, where would they find that information if they were looking?
That will be available on the program website.
Excellent. Thank you. Next question is, I believe for instant discounts, but I'll let you decide. Is there a possibility TLED can be increased from $3 to $4? The prices on TLEDs have increased.
That's for instant discount, so I'll take a stab at it. So we made an intentional decision to hold the TLED incentive at $3, which is where we ended in 2023. We are constantly monitoring the performance of a measure. So I would encourage you to reach out to your lighting outreach person, so either Steve or Paul, to express kind of difficulty in moving the measure, and they can relay it to the implementation team. But it was an intentional decision just to help us maintain our budget integrity this year to hold at $3. But we are always open to feedback, so please utilize your lighting outreach professional to kind of help push that in our conversations when we do revisit the incentives.
Awesome, thank you. That's all the Q&A we have at this moment. And again, there's a clarification. It was a question about the instant discounts distributor list. So it's very specific to instant discounts. I do believe it's available.
Yeah, I'll drop, as soon as I finish up here, I'll drop the distributor list for instant discounts as well as commercial food service in the chat. So look forward to that in a couple seconds.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, now all the Q&A is complete. So You're off the hook, guys.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks, Angela. Thanks, Jaleesa and Greg. We're going to keep rolling. So we'll move on to the next program offering, and that is the custom program offering. And so with that, I would like to hand it over to Sinman and Ann. Take it away, team.
Yeah, hello everyone. This is Qianmi Zhang. I'm the Senior Program Manager at the ComEd for the customer offering. Ian is joining us today here, and she's the outreach lead on our team. The customer offerings, we provide the incentive to our ComEd CNI customer based on the verified annual energy savings. We have a really succeed 2023 with all of your support. In last year, we made some changes to the application process, and the technical customer advocate role was also created to help you from the beginning to the end of the entire application process. And we have received a really positive feedback for this role particularly. In 2024, we are looking for a better collaboration with our ESPs, continue making improvements to our offerings, so it will be easier for both you and your customer to participate. So following next, and we'll give more detail about our offerings, the nuances in 2024, including the 2 new bonus in our offerings. Go ahead, Anne.
Thank you, Sinmed. I would like to introduce myself again. Ann Danucci, I'm the Senior Outreach Manager. I work for Cascade Energy. We are the implementing contractor for the ComEd custom program offering. And I just want to say thanks for all of you, like Scott said, that are still here today, listening in, and hopefully you'll gather some information on how our program can serve you and your customers and help with any energy efficiency projects that you have now or are looking to do in the future. So many of you may have already been working on this program before, and thank you so much. We could not do it without all of your help in promoting these program offerings across the board. And so we really appreciate all your hard work, and we look forward to, we had a great 2023. We're looking forward to a great 2024. So as Simon said, we are as more of a tailored program offering that provides incentives for energy efficiency projects with a defined scope or timeline that can't be addressed by other offerings. That being said, we collaborate a lot with the standard and new construction team, especially as outreach. I vet projects that come in and new leads and make sure that they're a good fit for custom. And if not, we make sure that you are directed towards the right program team and you get the help that you need. So our program is, again, it's based on flexible incentives. That means that the project incentives will be based on what we verify those savings to be at the end of a project. And those can either go up or down, but we can cover up to 100% of the project cost. So that's a great part of our program. Next slide, Scott, thank you. So this is a bit of the process journey that you may be familiar with if you have worked on this custom program before. There's a couple changes that we made in 2024, but how we start the project is identified either by you or your customer, and the lead comes in, and you may be already working with one of our technical customer advocates, so you might go directly to them. But if not, I would be maybe your first point of contact. I can get you the information that you need. So I'm typically in the front end of the process. So we now ask to have you submit a pre-application form. The pre-application is part of the custom incentive application form that you will have from the beginning of your project to the end. We take a look at that and any submittals that we might ask for to do a bit more deep dive into the energy efficiency savings. And then if that pre-app is approved, you will then receive a reservation letter. That reservation letter then allows your customer to purchase equipment. It's very important. I can't reiterate enough how important it is to work with us ahead of time to make sure that we can get that reservation letter to you as soon as possible, so that we don't hold up the project and they're also eligible for those incentives. Next step would be, order and install the equipment. We have a measurement and verification plan assigned for each project, depending on the type of project. And when that is all completed, the TCA will then send the final application to you for signature. We will ask for invoices, and then the incentive payment is issued either to you or the customer. So we have some new updates for 2024, similar to other programs, which is great. We have calculations for the custom applications. Sometimes they're asked at that point. At this point, they're optional. And so now if you need assistance, you can always reach out to the technical customer advocate that will be assigned to your project. You will have a TCA and an engineer from pre-app stage when it's approved to the completion of the project. The screening form is no longer required. We've removed that step. So again, like I said, we just start with that pre-application section of the custom incentive application form, and then you'll submit that to Business EE. Once the project's completed, we will work with you to get all of the savings verified and the final application for the customer to sign and complete. We also have some great new increased incentives in select communities. So we're looking to help the customers in historically underserved communities also save money and energy with their projects and offset some of those capital costs. We have projects that complete in these communities in 2024 calendar year with a submitted final application. They are eligible for an additional 15% incentive on top of our base incentive rate, and projects cap at 100% of that eligible project cost. And those locations are on our website at Disadvantaged Communities, ComEd's website. We also have some updates, additional incentives available, which is great. If you submit a pre-application by June 30th of this 2024, and the project is completed with a final application submittal by December 1st, you will receive an additional 25% incentive off additional to our base incentive rate, which I'll go over here in a minute. And projects that can be eligible for both incentive increases if you happen to be in select community and meet these timelines. So that's really amazing. So I'll just, not much has changed here with our incentive rates for the custom program offering for 2024, but really quickly, we do new construction lighting at 10 cents. We have 2 separate rates for wastewater projects. We have data center projects, new construction and closet to co-location. And then all other custom projects, which most of the projects fall under, will be at the 18 cents per kilowatt hour saved incentive rate, up to 100% of project cost. We also have incentives for electrification, where if you're changing from a fossil fuel source and you're going to an electric fuel source, then we have incentives to help offset those costs. We are an open EES network at the custom program. If you would like to receive a check, then we ask for you to submit a ComEd EES application, and our custom team will follow up with you to make sure that you have any questions are answered. That needs to be renewed yearly, as well as the ICC certification. And here's where to get more information. Again, the custom incentive application, fill out that, the pre-apps embedded in that, and then the custom overview. You can contact your TCA, myself, or ComEd at the ComEd support line. And we have on the Cascade Energy side also Beth Glenn is our senior program manager, myself, and then Claire Flaherty is our senior program specialist. And I think if I just want to summarize everything here, it's just that we have a great team, we work together, and we will make sure that you get whatever information you need. So please reach out to us at any time you have any questions. Thanks very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anne and Sinman. Great info on the custom program offering. Angela, any questions?
Yes, we do have a question for custom. How many days/weeks are required for data logging to support an ECM?
Ooh, Sinman, I can take a stab at it. I can let Sinman. You want to answer that?
Oh, I'm just trying to find the question in the Q&A section. Maybe I missed it. I think it depends. It's really depends. Right, depends on the type of the project and what the information you can provide.
Some projects are more complex and they require a little more time in the data collection, especially larger projects. So we make sure that we get a real picture of what those energy savings look like on the back end.
Okay, great. More questions coming in. Do multifamily buildings that have energy savings potential but do not fall under the standard prescriptive program qualify for custom savings opportunities, or does this program only apply to C&I?
I can give a quick answer and you can provide if it's not. The multifamily buildings depend if it's commercial building, yes, you can for sure participate in our program. I think it's I believe in Illinois is a 4-story or above gonna be a commercial building. And if it's residential building, then you're gonna participate in our residential offerings at ComEd. Yeah, we do definitely have the incentive for the commercial building.
And I think that to add to that, I believe it's if there's some sort of retail space in that building, as well as that 4 stories of multifamily, there's some retail on the main level, typically, like a lot of them have, that is classified as commercial.
Right. So yeah, as our C&I team here, we provide incentive to all the C&I customer, commercial and industrial customer here. These are private and public. If doesn't fit in the prescription method, like standard or small business, there will be a solution for you in custom offering here.
Great, thank you so much for those clarifications. Another question, how is the electrification incentive calculated when converting from gas heating unit to an electric heat pump, for example?
That's a great,
yeah.
Great question.
I think I can feel that a little bit. I mean, we can definitely take it offline, and if the individual has a question, we can talk to them directly. But as typically in those types of projects where we're converting, say a natural gas to electric, you'll take that whatever that load is in BTUs, for example, and you will convert that to kilowatt hours, and then you will compare that to what the new energy use is on the electric side. So it's really just taking the BTUs, converting to kilowatts. So there's some math in there, and the engineers do all that magic. But that's typically how we analyze those projects.
Right. And depend on we are compared to a baseline when we do the energy savings. And normally the calculation methodology will follow the TRM. And we see a really good benefit for the past electrification projects. So you probably can see more savings when you do the conversion. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, wonderful. One more clarifying question on the multi-unit.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roll up your sleeves. Here we go. For clarification, can multi-unit high-rise buildings, apartment and/or condo buildings with 100+ units qualify for custom opportunities?
Short answer is yes. And also just want everyone know we also have a commercial industrial new construction offerings at ComEd EE. So if you qualify for that offering, it will be easier for you because we work really close with the design engineer and the developer on that offerings. And we use the energy model for most of to verify the savings. However, for some reason, if you not able to qualify the new construction offerings, custom is another option for you. Sure, we can. Yeah, we provide incentive for you as well.
I think we'll be going into the new construction program here, right? So just to spin off of that as well, if you have a new construction project and it comes to custom, typically it's because it's really far into the design phase and close to 100% or permit stage, that the new construction team, it's maybe past having influence on that design, and then custom will run with those projects.
Great, thank you so much. We are currently through all of the questions for custom.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, great questions. Thanks everyone
Thank
for
you.
participating. Thanks, Sin, and thanks, Anne. Appreciate it. We're gonna keep moving here. We're gonna move now to the industrial systems program offering, and for that, I would like to introduce Tom and Andrea. So, team, I will let you take it away.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tom Johansson. I'm the Senior Program Manager here at ComEd for the Industrial Systems Program. And I also have joining me is Andrea McKinnon. It's the Program Manager at Cascade Energy, who's helping implement this program. And I'll let Andrea get into some of the details, but it was a great year last year in 2023. And of course, always looking forward to 2024 and any new service providers that want to join the network to help us save energy for industrial customers. But I'll let Andrea get into some more of the details. Thanks.
Thanks, Tom. Hi, I'm Andrea McKenna, and I am with Cascade Energy. We are the implementing contractor for the Industrial Systems Program. And this is a program that's targeted towards customers with industrial equipment in-house and high energy use systems, such as process cooling equipment, industrial refrigeration, compressed air, process equipment, large pumps and fans, and water and wastewater treatment plants. There are comprehensive and fix-it-now options within this offering that incentivize both capital projects and operational and maintenance measures. For most projects, incentives are based on verified kWh savings, but in the fix-it-now option, there are many compressed air incentives that are provided on a per unit basis. Our network of EESPs are highly involved in these projects. They perform in-depth assessments of the industrial equipment, they provide recommendations to customers, and then verify the energy savings after project implementation. Up to 100% of project costs can be incentivized, with the incentive funds going to the customer or to the EESP. And last year, the program completed over 350 projects and 50 gigawatt hours in energy savings. Next slide, please. So we have several exciting updates for 2024. The incentives for several compressed air measures have increased significantly. There are new incentive rates designed to minimize your customers' out-of-pocket costs for high-efficiency air nozzles, low-pressure drop filters, and no-loss condensate drains. Additionally, incentives for air compressors with integrated VSDs have gone up to $220 per horsepower. Projects completed by December 1st can receive an additional 25% incentive. To be eligible, customers must commit to implementing a project by signing a customer selection form by June 30th, and then their EESP must submit a complete verification report and analysis by December 1st. Secondly, customers in select communities can receive an additional 15% incentive for most projects completed in 2024. And projects can be eligible for both of these incentives. The total incentive is capped at 100% of project costs. And finally, an update for our existing EESPs. The Cascade team is rolling out a project status dashboard to help you more easily track your active projects with us. Next slide. So the Industrial Systems offering has a network of about 43 EESPs currently. We accept applications to join the network at any time. And in general, EESPs are expected to complete one project per year. As I mentioned earlier, Industrial Systems EESPs provide comprehensive project assessment and execution, and they're responsible for data collection and in-depth energy savings analysis that's commensurate with the project size and complexity. This year, we are looking to expand the network, particularly with diverse contractors and service providers with expertise in process cooling, industrial refrigeration, water and wastewater treatment, and process efficiency. Next slide, please. So here are some of the benefits to being an Industrial Systems EESP. First off, compensation. The studies are fully funded by ComEd so that your customer incurs no fees for assessments and verification. the customer or the EESP can receive the incentive check for a completed project. As an EESP, you get access to co-branded marketing materials as well as service provider training. EESPs are assigned an energy advisor who can provide individualized support and in-field support. And they also have access to program engineers to discuss the technical details of your projects. And finally, you have an opportunity to provide input on the industrial systems offering via in-person roundtable events and during one-on-one meetings with your energy advisor or program engineer. For more information, existing EESPs for the industrial systems offering can visit the portal, the service provider portal at any time, or you can reach out to your energy advisor. The service provider portal contains application forms, Fix-It-Now workbooks, technical resources, and marketing materials. Those who are interested in becoming an industrial systems EESP can visit the webpage shown here, or you can contact myself or Devon George, who is our EESP network manager, and our contact information is shown here. Feel free to reach out to either of us at any time.
All right. Thank you very much, Andrea and Tom. Any questions from anyone, please drop them in the Q&A or the chat function if you can access the Q&A, and we'll answer as many as we have time for.
We do have one question that's come in so far. Actually, two questions that have come in. Is fuel switching from electric to gas a qualified ECM?
This is a great question to actually follow up with offline. We are working on these kinds of projects right now. So I would love to get in touch with, I can't see the name of the person asking the question, but our team would be happy to chat about that. We would like to target a few pilot projects in that area. So we'd like to learn more about what you're thinking about.
We can make sure that you get access to that person. The next question is, what is the baseline used for new construction? ASHRAE 90.1-year, question mark.
So within the industrial systems program, we target projects for existing equipment. So this sounds like perhaps a question for a project that would best fit the custom, like the commercial new construction program. I don't know if someone from that team is available to answer that.
Yeah, I believe that presentation is coming up soon for the new construction.
We'll make sure that question gets answered as we move forward. So we can keep that rolling. And I think that is all the questions that we have currently in all of the places where people can ask questions.
All right. Fantastic. Thanks for the good questions. Yes, I can confirm we will be hearing from C&I New Construction in the next session. So we'll see if we can have them tackle that one. So thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Tom. We're gonna keep rolling onto the next program offering, and this is, I believe, our last of the C&I section. So thanks for sticking with us. We're gonna stick here with Tom and move to the retro commissioning program offering, and I'm gonna pass it to Tom and Abdul for this one.
Okay, great. So again, this is Tom Johansson. I'm program manager for the retro commissioning program. We also have Abdul Hadi on the call today as well to present the more details about retro commissioning. They're the implementing contractor, which is Resource Innovation. Again, was a strong finish for 2023, especially in the month of December. A lot of activity, a lot of projects were closed, and appreciate all the hard work from our service providers. And as well as we'll look into, as Abdul Hadi gets into the details, you'll see more about how you might be able to join the network or learn more about retro commissioning as it might apply to your customer base. So with that, I'll turn it over and let Abdul Hadi get into more details. Thanks.
Thanks, Tom. Hey, everyone. My name is Abdul Hadi Ayub. the PM for the retro commissioning program. I see there's still over 200 plus, so thanks for sticking around, and I hope you've been finding this presentation useful. So retro commissioning, I'd like to start by saying like this is the largest program in the country of its nature. It goes back to 2008, so it's been a long journey. All right, so what is retro commissioning? It's a study-based offering that targets large commercial facilities, both private and public sectors. And the main goal here is to optimize energy operation and control strategies. So we do not target any like capital upgrades or retrofits. Those are typically handled by other offerings. So it's more on the control strategies, sequences, and so on. Some example could be like scheduling air handling units, adjusting temperature and pressure resets, and so on. So a lot of these measures are going to be handled by upgrading the BES system or the sequences on the BES system. And they're typically a 1.5 year period or less. So there are no to low cost types of measures. With that said, the incentive is based mainly on like going to service providers to cover the study fees. And there's also a customer incentive to help them implement these measures and, cover up to 100% of the implementation cost, which we'll go over in a little bit. I would say a lot of these projects tend to be on the longer end, so could be 7 months to 2 years or even longer, really, depending on the track and how involved they are and the opportunities available in the building. But yeah, on average, we typically see 5 to 15% of annual savings based on their annual usage. Some of our 23 results covered here. So we verified over 45 gigawatt hours and accepted 5 new service providers and removed some. And I'll touch on this in a little bit here, talking a little bit about the network, how it's operated, and the ins and outs of it. Next slide, please. All right, so the offering is based on 3 main tracks, RCX Flex, which is traditional retro commissioning, MBCX, which is monitoring-based commissioning. So it's an advanced type of retro commissioning where it involves installing an FDD software to help uncover additional ECMs and savings. And finally, virtual commissioning, which is VCX in this case. So our network typically focus on Flex and MBCX, and we do have a dedicated service provider serving the virtual commissioning track. In addition, this year, we're also introducing BOC. So it's a building operator certification, which is a type of training that is targeted to building engineers, just to help them maintain and efficiently operate their buildings. So if you know customers that could be interested, there's a lot of information on the ComEd website, and this training is offered by MIA and presented by MIA. So, all right. So just a little bit how the program operates. So we are a closed network program. So as a service provider, you need to apply and get approved. And then all these projects delivered to the customers are typically done by the service provider. We do have, a lot of case studies and marketing material and videos just to kind of help you better understand what retro commissioning is and whether or not your customers would be a good fit for it. Here's just a snapshot of the offering itself, the different options. in addition to this table, I would say there's the service provider incentive that I mentioned earlier. So that is based on that. It varies slightly from one track to the other, but it's mainly designed to cover the engineering cost of you as a service provider and the time spent. There is a rigorous engineering portion or aspect associated with these projects and M&V, or measure and verification. So it's very heavily engineering driven program, and we work closely with you to make sure that the calculations and the reports you're submitting are sound and valid and accurately delivered to these customers. All right. So talking a little bit about the network, as I mentioned, it's a closed network. We do send out an RFQ once a year, typically in June. And however, if you have, a customer that's interested and ready to go, we have made some exceptions in the past for some off-cycle RFQs. But typically, there are some eligibility requirements here. As I mentioned, like we're expecting to see expertise in engineering. So a lot of our SPs are in energy consulting firms and things like that. We like to see, experience in ASHRAE audits, commissioning, and so on. And again, the focus is mainly on HVAC systems and how to optimize the building automation system. We do have about 40 service providers in the network. We're continuously adding and removing based on activity. So we do have an expectation of having at least one active project per year for these service providers. So yeah, we're continuously monitoring and maintaining the network. There's also more information on the ComEd website with the link listed below. So yeah, feel free to check it out. And last but not least, so some of the benefits that you get as a service provider includes, onboarding, training. You have a dedicated project coordinator that's going to be your main point of contact throughout the process. And a lot of the SPs that we have been in the network since day one. So we typically work closely with you to ensure your success in the program, or even determine if this is not the best fit for you. So again, we have a service provider portal with all resources. We provide marketing, outreach, and engineering support. It's a very mature program, I would say, and yeah, very niche type of thing. But yeah, it's been going great, and we definitely rely and design the program based on our service providers, since they're the boots on the ground and they're the ones dealing with the customers directly. All right. So yeah, this is just a high level. Feel free to reach out if you have any additional information, any questions, or if you want to learn more about the program. Again, my name is Abdul Hadi. I'm the program manager, and then I also have on the call here Wayne Bollinger, who's our outreach manager. Thanks.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Abdul Hadi, and thank you, Tom. Any questions, please drop them into the Q&A or the chat. It looks like Angela's on top of it here.
Trying to stay on top of it. So far, we do not have any questions that have come in regarding retro commissioning during this presentation. But I've looked in the chat, looked in the Q&A, and I think we are good at this moment.
All right, sounds good. Well, in the interest of time, let's keep moving. Thank you again to you both for the presentation on retro commissioning. That concludes our C&I section on the program offerings. We have one more section coming up. Thank you to everyone that's stuck with us and is dedicating your morning to hanging with us. We've got a lot more good information in this next session coming up that's listed here. So with the interest of time in mind, we're just about 10 minutes, a little over 10 minutes behind. So we're going to keep rolling. Sorry for not providing a break, but hopefully if you need to, you can you can sort of sneak out and then come back on. So we'll take a quick pause while I just change slide decks, and then we will get rolling into the last section. So thank you, everyone.
Quick reminder to everyone, we will have a survey that comes out just after the webinar, and we would encourage you to provide as much feedback as you can. We'd like this webinar to be of value to you. We want to make sure you get the most out of it and that all your questions get answered. And the only way we can improve it moving forward is if we hear from you as to what you need from us. So make sure you fill out that survey. And again, we are recording the webinar and we will have it available as well as the slides in the next few days, probably early next week. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Angela. We're going to keep rolling. So this is the fourth and final section of our webinar today. This is additional tools and offerings. So thanks again for sticking with us. For those of you that weren't on for some of the earlier sessions, my name is Scott Gross. I'm a senior program manager with ComEd, and I'll be guiding us through this last section. So in this section, we're going to be covering some tools and some offerings that don't have ESP networks, right? These are not things that you will participate in directly, but you will greatly benefit from learning about them and sort of understanding what they are. So here's a quick lineup, but there's lots of good stuff in here. There's some training. There's info you're going to need on some billing changes, customer eligibility reminders. BEA is a tool that customers can use to analyze their own energy. You're going to hear from new construction, a couple other things that may provide leads or generate projects. That's facility assessments, with the addition of public school carbon-free assessments, strategic energy management there as well. And then on-bill financing is obviously a project financing tool. And last but not least, hope people are excited to hear a little bit about our beneficial electrification plan. So hope you can stick with us to the end. We'll still probably wrap by close to about noon. A couple of just reminders. Angela covered most of this, but we're recording. We'll make the slides available. Please enter any questions in the Q&A, and we'll address what we can live as time allows. So I'm going to actually stick with you for just a couple of minutes here and take this first topic. So air source heat pump training and resources. This training was the one that was developed for the home heating and cooling program. So if you were on for the residential section of the webinar, you heard about that. It was developed as a pilot last year, and now is sort of in the steady state phase. We are really anticipating the continued adoption of heat pumps within our customer base, and because of that, right, the expansion of heat pump measures into other program offerings. So in the future. So anyone that's interested in learning more about heat pumps are really welcome and encouraged to take these trainings and check out the resources. Some of the content will be more specific to residential applications, but a lot of the principles will be the same, and it can provide you a good sort of level of baseline knowledge if you're interested. So here's just a little bit, a little look at the training and resources that are out there for this year. The top 4, there's some on-demand training modules, right? This is spelled out as the ones required for the home heating and cooling heat pump contractors, right? So there are 4 modules there that you can take on demand, and there are some other things. There's some new resources being developed, a couple guides here that you can see, as well as additional resources, right? There's even more on-demand training modules that are not required for the home heating and cooling program, and some other existing guides and resources that you can check out. So please get involved if you're interested, right? You can go to this website that's linked here, the ComEd Air Source Heat Pump website. It's hosted on the Slipstream domain, who is implementing the heat pump training program this year. you can create a free LMS account to access these on-demand training modules, right? To take them sort of at your leisure, and you can access all the other stuff, right? So there's some new guides, existing guides here, and some additional resources on these following topics. So if anyone has any questions, drop in the chat. In the interest of time, I think let's keep moving since we're a little bit behind, and at the end, if we have time, we can address any of them. So next topic, I'm gonna pass it off to Tim from the ComEd team here, who's gonna talk to you all about some customer care and billing change impacts. So Tim, thanks for being on, and take it away.
Thanks a lot, Scott. My name's Tim Vavra. I am a Senior Energy Efficiency Data Specialist with ComEd, and I work specifically with our tracking system, eTrack. Can we go to the next slide? So on February 19th, a major change is going to take place for ComEd, and that will be the change from the current customer information management system called SIMS to CC&B. This change is going to affect you in a couple of ways. First of all, every single account number that you have for a customer is going to change. If it was a customer account number in SIMS, it will not be used in CC&B. It'll be something different. The account number, if you see in the picture on the right-hand side, is still in the upper right-hand corner of the bill. On the residential side, these bills stay the same. On the commercial side, they will be converting to this kind of a format. The biggest change is there will now be a thing called the Electric Choice ID. You will also hear this called a service agreement number. This is the unique identifier for how we're going to bill and address the customer. The account number can have multiple electric choice IDs depending on what kind of service we're providing to them. So that's why this is a little bit different. The electric choice ID is going to be found on the page 2, 3, 4, whatever number of pages you've got for the bill, and it'll be underneath the service address. So it's the connection point between basically the service address and the meter. All right. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. So what does that mean for you? Okay. Old account numbers, you know, when this happens in February, I would say probably no one will know what their new account number is. That's okay. We've built things into our system to allow us to check either the old account number or the new account number. We're going to help you out with that. What we will ask is wherever you can, get the electric choice ID. That is the true number. We'll try to get it wherever we can, but many of the people won't know it until probably 6 months in. On the commercial side, a lot of the people that you're dealing with are so far removed from the bill, they'll never know. So we're going to give you some things that you can use to get that kind of information. All right. You can check with the program managers to find out what's going to be expected from a program perspective. We're going to do our best to make sure that we have all of the information that's going to be necessary to validate customer eligibility. All right. Next slide, please. So how can you find the account number? There is a billing update page that will be available in on ComEd.com. And what it will let you do is enter account number and usually the zip code for the billing account. And it will tell you on the second page what the new account number is and the electric choice ID. So this is going to be very valuable. It is on ComEd.com. You don't need any kind of special login. You can go right to this site and pull up the information. If you know the old account number, this will get you there, right? If you happen to get the new account number and the new service agreement number or electric choice ID, we'll deal with that too. We'll take whatever you can give us. We'll make it work, okay? It is, we've built a lot of things into our system to check for both of those things, because quite honestly, it's going to take a year before people start to realize what their account number is and electric choice ID. The actual changeover on ComEd.com is going to take place. I believe it's President's Day weekend, the weekend of the 19th of February. We will be doing the changeover in our system the following weekend, because we won't have all the data configured by then. All right. That's it. Any questions?
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. I think Angela maybe has a couple questions that came in.
We do. We have some questions. The first one is, when will customers be receiving their new account numbers?
They'll get that with their first bill, I believe. That would be a ComEd billing systems question. They have been receiving notifications that they will be getting a new account number. But I don't believe the actual account numbers will be created until the weekend of President's Weekend, or a couple of days before that.
Okay, great. So right around mid-February, potentially.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Will the residential account numbers also change in February?
Everyone's account number. I don't care, you know, every single account number will change. Every single premise ID will change. Every single customer ID will change. There is no number that will be the same from one system to the other. And I will tell you, there is going to be no way for you to look at the number and know whether or not it's a SIMS or a CCMB account number. Don't worry about that.
Okay. What sort of interruptions can we expect with applications because of the new account numbers?
Why do you expect there to be interruptions? So our system, we will be going live with the changeovers in our system the weekend of February 23rd. At that point, we will convert all of the numbers that we have for current applications from the old SIMS account number to the new CCMB account number. We have programs involved in the lookup of customer numbers that will allow you to enter either the CCMB or the SIMS account number, and all of our lookups will return CCMB account numbers for you. So all of the systems have been updated, or will be updated on that weekend to accommodate the new change. There will be no, you're not going to have to go in and fix all the account numbers. We'll get them fixed for you.
Great. I think you kind of answered this, but I want to make sure. So if you have an existing application, will the electric choice ID be required on the final application?
We're going to provide the electric choice ID based on the if you have a pre-app in, we'll get the electric choice ID for you. And it'll be in the eTrack system. So you'll be able to get that out if you need to.
Great. Another question. What is the reason for changing this account number, and how will it be helpful?
That is a question you can go to ComEd.com and find out. But generally, the current system that we have right now is very, very old. This is a brand new system with new technologies. It's got a lot of benefits for our customer service reps. This is a Exelon-wide initiative. This is not ComEd wants to change the account numbers because it's Tuesday. It's It's a corporate decision. And quite honestly, this system is used by several other utilities and very well received. So hopefully we'll have the same results.
Okay, I think that's all the questions that we can answer right now. And there's a couple questions in there that we probably will address individually. Okay, there's one more. For existing commercial customers with alternative retail electric supply, will the current ComEd account number automatically convert to the electric choice ID?
Well, account numbers will convert to account numbers. Electric choice IDs are a function of the account number and premise. The account number will convert and the electric choice ID will be made available. They will still maintain a ComEd electric choice ID as part of their ComEd account number. The whole concept of that alternative billing function is handled in the background. There's no visibility to that that we need to worry about.
Great, thanks so much, Tim. That's all the questions we're going to grill you with this morning. Appreciate it.
Angela, just get those to me and I'll be more than happy to respond to them.
Will do, thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
All right, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Angela. Appreciate it. We're going to move on now and talk about some customer eligibility reminders from the energy legislation. And for that, I would like to hand it over to Nathan Onchek from the ComEd team.
Thanks, Scott, and good morning, everyone. I'm part of the commercial and industrial customer journey team here in the energy efficiency program. I do a few different things, and one of them is this opt-out updates. So we could go ahead and jump into the next slide. For those of you who are not familiar with this, back in 2021, CEJA legislation was passed that provided an opt-out option for customers with a location greater than 10 megawatt peak demands and required all public customers, regardless of their peak demands, to return to the energy efficiency program. One of the things that makes this a little bit more challenging to track is that customers have the option to opt out any of their locations in addition to their 10 megawatt site. So you might end up at a small location that you assume won't have any eligibility issues. However, it was included in another site's opt-out application. So for these situations, there is a list that was provided to your ICs back when this took effect of customer names and addresses to let you know which sites were opted out. And if you have any questions about it, reach out to your IC and we can help you confirm that an account is actually eligible. Opted out customers are ineligible for all ComEd energy efficiency program services or incentives, and they're not paying into the program either. We ask that you don't share any of the energy efficiency